Let's go!
I am Bgoldbricks.
I am Hylian Bricks.
I am LEGO Zora, and you're watching Podcast of Time.
The 11th episode special.
That's correct, and it's special because
Because this has been the longest amount of time between episodes.
there it is. That's the special
All
thing.
right.
So let's
All
get
right.
this started. So let me say first off, we've all been doing things. We've all been busy with things. So that's why it's been so long between episodes. But the benefit of that is that we have a lot to discuss this episode, including one of the biggest things that has been going on ever since we started the show. Tears of the Kingdom has finally been released.
Yes, which I have not played. So I'm very excited to talk about it. I'm very excited to maybe just mute myself.
Or like you're just like waiting up free time.
Yes, well, sort of both. I'm 100% sure I'm gonna get it. It's just been I've been very busy. What have I been doing? I have been I started a business, then I started another business because the first one was a bad idea, and then I deleted that business, and now I'm working in theater, in a movie theater. That was weirdly worded. I'm not acting, but I'm working at in concessions at a movie theater, and I'm making a good living. And I have reapplied to college and all of these things. And so basically the idea is, and I've also been going to the gym. So like my time's really full, and it's full of good and productive stuff. And so I fear if I get the game, I know it's probably, obviously I don't know too much about it, but I assume it's going to be at least as good as Breath of the Wild in some sense, or at least as addictive. And so if that is the case, it would, well, there you go. If that's the case, then it would just absorb my time. And even more than just absorbing my time, it's going to absorb my mind. Like my mind's going to be focused on it. And so I'm not going to be able to be as productive. But the idea is I get it this Christmas and I'm going to have like a week or two where I'm just playing it sort of as a reward for all of the work on scholarships I'm doing. So that's me. You guys got it, I'm sure, like basically at release. Is that true?
Yeah, I got it the day of release.
Same.
There we go. Okay. So here's the problem. So I want to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about anything that would spoil it, which is basically everything. So maybe I will just like take out my earbuds and you guys can talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Right,
this is Dora. I don't want to talk about it. This is Dora right now. I don't want to talk about it, but proceeds to be watching my stories and liking every little Tears of the Kingdom spoiler I upload.
Well, yes, I have been seeing them. I have been avoiding as much of the like words that I see, and I don't like look too deeply into the things that I get from your Instagram.
Okay, well, I think it's only fair that we don't discuss Tears of the Kingdom, at least the spoilers, until Zora has played the game.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. I appreciate that,
man. So if you guys came here expecting us to talk about Tears of the Kingdom, like the really good stuff, sorry, not happening this episode.
Well, okay, but did we talk about the Lego leak?
No, we didn't, because that didn't happen until
February, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
okay, well that will be our first discussion. We are finally getting LEGO Zelda.
This is a podcast about Lego and Zelda, and this is the first time that it has existed. So
yes, it is for those who have not seen it, it is the Great Deku Tree, but it is two-sided. One is Ocarina of Time, and the other is Breath of the Wild.
Wait, is it two-sided? I thought it was like
no,
2 in 1.
Like 2 in 1, yeah, 2 in 1.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I guess it's the same wording. So, I honestly, right now, I'm kind of in a state of shock, and I have been since February. So, it's so. Gosh, that's my response. Those words specifically. What are your guys' ideas?
Well, I'm just really happy it's happening because, like, along with The Incredibles, that was like the one thing I was wanting from Lego.
The Incredibles? Interesting.
Well, yeah, because that was my favorite movie as a kid. So finally seeing it back in 2018, I was like, yes.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, I honestly really love The Incredibles. It's one of those things
but not The Incredibles 2. I hate Incredibles 2.
Well, I agree with you. Actually, I agree with you. It's just there's something so wrong and cheap about it. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the visual effects are amazing, but maybe we put aside Incredibles. I have
Yeah.
to say, in terms of choices for a Lego Zelda set, it is the absolute best that they could possibly have made. Because my biggest fear for Lego Zelda is, oh well, if they're gonna make it, it's all gonna be Breath of the Wild. It's all gonna be, Tears of the Kingdom, maybe even now. And I was kind of sad. Obviously, Hylian Bricks, I know you love Breath of the Wild, and I do as well. I mean, I absolutely love Breath of the Wild, but there's something about the idea of finally getting the Lego Link from like Ocarina of Time, or maybe even Twilight Princess, like that sort of classic thing that I thought, well, oh, they're never going to do that now. But seeing the
Well,
absolute
to
perfect
be
choice
fair,
of yeah,
to be absolutely fair, so as we well know, again, bringing back to what happened in these large gap of for the 10th episode, yeah, episode
yeah,
10 and current
Yeah.
episode, me and, as I like to call it, British Lego YouTube Zelda YouTuber, Lego Zelda
oh
YouTuber,
man, I love him.
Octane Thermoplastic. Whoa, yeah, we've been completely, yeah, we're very close, and we've kind of discussed extensively this Lego Legend of Zelda set, and we
Mm,
kind of came to a very sad conclusion. I do not want to
no,
make it
okay,
sad, but it's kind of a sad conclusion. We
yeah.
only see this Decotree set as an 18 plus set one time thing, like the one from Horizons. Yeah, that one game. I forgot the name.
Mm. I hear you, and
Like,
that's I want to hear more about that point. But here's my response. Here's my little response here. Um, Zelda isn't isn't Horizon Zero Dawn, and I've been thinking about this just today
of course,
even.
it's not.
I've been thinking specifically Zelda for some reason, and I think I have the reason, has been at the top of Lego ideas forever. It might be the set, the idea of a Lego Zelda set that has been, gotten to the whatever milestone more than any other series. And I think the reason is because Lego and Zelda overlap in a very specific way. Zelda is a creative game. It's a game about trying to. It's not creative in the way Minecraft's creative, which is probably more like Lego, to be honest. But it is creative in a puzzle way, right? It's puzzles, it's adventure, and it encapsulates the mind of somebody who, like, the thing about specifically Ocarina of Time and the older styles of the games, but the new ones as well, is in some sense it doesn't actually give very much to the player the way that, let's say, Mario does. It doesn't give you the whole thing that you just go and do. You have to really be able to sink your teeth into it with your own creative mind to really go crazy with the story and the adventure and everything. And that's exactly the group that overlaps with Lego. Lego, it's all about fun, but it's about fun in a creative new way where you have to kind of give something. And so Horizon Zero Dawn it's kind of just a modern game. It's a very good modern game, I think. I haven't played it, to be fair, but Zelda is more, and I think that Lego will see that with the 18 plus set. I think the 18 plus set's going to sell better than any set ever. That's not true, but very up close up there, and
Yeah, I mean,
people
the
are going
Mario
to.
set's well, that one is gonna be great as well. Now, the
That's
only
right.
thing that we expect it being a one time thing is
Mm,
this one tiny problem, but is
yeah.
not as tiny. We kind of realized the way Nintendo promotes the Legend of Zelda franchise as of these last years. So
Oh,
they directed
yeah.
more towards like it's not for kids. And why are we saying this? Because, for example, look at the new Animal Crossing sets coming out. They are
Mm,
more promoted. They're actual play sets with minifigures and stuff. I mean, the Zelda ones
true.
have minifigures, but it's the way they promote it and the way they promoted Tears of the Kingdom, mainly for like a more mature audience. And now with the recent news of the Zelda film being a live action, it
Ah, yeah.
also kind of brings more of the fact
Oh
that
man, I
they're not. It's
can't believe
Zelda's
we
not
just
for kids in
yeah.
Nintendo's eyes.
Yes, and we have to talk about the movie, but first let's finish up because oh man, the movie. But let's talk about
What,
this more.
the
So
Mario movie?
the Zelda movie. I haven't actually
Oh,
seen the Mario
yeah.
movie, although I don't care about spoilers for the Mario movie. I
Well,
assume
that's
it's
the thing is that
it's
we gotta talk about that because that came out between the last episode.
yeah, yeah. But first, let's talk about the Lego set. So okay, so that's a good point actually. I think it was a video from Octane Thermoplastic that talked about Lego Zelda, like Zelda is a, I don't know the word exactly, but what you were talking about, Hylian Bricks, where it's like it's a prestigious thing, right? You want to give very high end um like action figures and Figma. There was Figma Link, which I have, and these very high end things. Now, to be fair, that's not always the case because there's these mini Wind Waker set things that they had back in the day. Not too
Back in
long
the
ago.
day.
Yeah, not too long ago. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Wind Waker ones, yeah. But like you said, back in the
Yeah.
day, and considering that the art style, if they're gonna make playsets, the only way I can actually see kind of working is that toon style. I mean, of course, any other
Hmm.
game would work. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I envision them doing is Wind Waker specifically because that's more cartoony and like it's less
Hmm.
associated with more mature looking games or Nintendo the way they promote Zelda
Hmm.
now.
That's true. They didn't do many small things for things other than Wind Waker. Now, I do think that just this is maybe more of a feelings based idea, but I feel like they wouldn't heavily go deep into the Wind Waker unless they were going deep into all of the games, only because Wind Waker it's I think less appealing now. I think that those sets were coming out around the time of the Wind Waker HD's release. And
Yeah.
so I feel like Wind Waker isn't as iconic as, say, I always go back to Ocarina of Time, but probably even Twilight Princess. Nowadays, when people talk about Wind Waker, I feel, well, for a time there was like a adoration of Wind Waker, which I think to some degree deserved more than the negativity that it had got when it came out. However, I think nowadays people think more highly of the other games. Maybe I'm just wrong about that. But so here's my vision. They will at least do more prestigious 18 plus sets. Would you agree with me on that?
I,
Uh, hmm.
I'm on the fence of it because yeah, the Deku Tree, but what's
Mm,
aside from the Deku Tree, like what else? Temple
I
of
was well,
Time,
the castle.
Castle.
I would say the castle. Yeah, maybe even from Breath of the Wild, because I think the Deku Tree is going to be like a hundo, maybe two hundo set. So I think they're gonna be able to do maybe a like five hundo sort of set. I don't know.
Why do you say Hundo
Maybe
at
that's
the end?
pushing
That's my question.
it.
That sounds so
That's
stupid.
my
I'm
thing.
sorry.
That's my license right there. You don't think they're gonna do any more sets, even smaller sets, like even just smaller 18 plus sets, like hundo set, let's say.
I feel like I mean, we could of course only hope for the best, but
Yeah,
I feel
definitely.
it kind of unlikely. But at the same time, like I
Mm.
said, yes, because no doubt this set is going to be it's going to be a hit. Like it's like the Mario
Yeah,
sets. Even if people dislike the Mario sets, disliked it as much as they did, it is one of Lego's most like it's one of their best selling
that's
themes.
true.
So like
Which is
I think
insane.
they would take advantage of that.
Yeah,
But again, it's Nintendo, the way they promote the franchise, that's kind of what got me in between, in the middle of it
yeah.
all.
I mean, it's a good idea, but is. I don't think it's as um like foregone almost as perhaps Octane Thermoplastic in all his wisdom may presume, because he's right there, and he's good at when he's pointing to that, where he's like, okay, this thing is usually marketed in a very prestigious way. However, like the old toys for Wind Waker, not completely. And the fact that they're even able to go to make Lego Zelda nowadays, like for I feel like that's an indication of, well, even with the movies, it's an indication that Nintendo is open to seeing money, right? And so I think if they see that, maybe it won't be a play theme. I do feel like there's something about that seems unlikely, however, not impossible. I think at least they're going to do a lot more of these 18 plus sets. And I think the Hyrule Castle is a big one. Obviously, they have a great number of ideas just from Lego ideas, right? They have a big list of ideas that people would want. Um, so I feel like it's unlikely that Nintendo's preclude to make Zelda prestigious in a very high end way would keep them from. I mean, they do toy Master Swords, they do toy Hylian shields, they do these sort of toy things for the kids, as well as the super high end prestigious things. I don't know.
Yeah. And speaking of sets, I kind of want this to be a segue to another topic that, again, me and Octane do love discussing a lot. And that is, again, around the topic of Lego Zelda sets.
I'll say.
Recently, ever since the Deku Tree leaked set, a lot of designs online from either Lego Ideas or very popular designs from people who build Lego Zelda stuff have been stolen by fake Lego companies claiming to
Oh,
be their builds, and they sell them
yep,
online. Now,
yep,
what do I want to say with this?
yep.
To anyone watching and to you too as well, do not support this business because you are supporting art theft. Basically, that's art theft. Like, basically,
Yeah,
support the
yeah.
original creator on their Rebrickable page or
That's right. That would be better.
the original because it is
Yep.
getting out of hand. And recently, this week on Monday, this week I think it was, or last
Mm.
week I think, I got an email from one of these companies asking
Mm.
for a promotion in one of my videos, and further
Oh.
research. I was considering.
Mm.
I'm not going to deny that I was considering,
I
but
understand
then
that.
sit back and think like this is actually someone's like not existence. 'Cause I'm sure they have more stuff, but for example, I see myself
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
picture. Let's say they steal one of my designs and said steal, but like this is my existence, and they're stealing it away from me, claiming it to be theirs. That's basically
Mm.
what I would be doing if I'm promoting that, and I'm totally against it because again, I'm promoting, at least in my videos, I'm promoting like creativity. Build your stuff.
Yeah,
Mocks.
yeah.
It goes completely against what I believe. So yeah, so I want to say that do not support these fake Zelda sets. Wait until the real thing comes out.
I would agree with you. And I remember I was just watching some Peanut Butter Gamer videos, and he bought one, and then he has it displayed alongside of his some of his other stuff. He bought the a fake. It was one of the Lego idea sets actually. It was the horse stable thing from Breath of the
Oh,
Wild. So he has a big fake one of those. And he made it in a video, like he did it for a video. Now it might have been a promotion as well. I don't even know. I haven't seen the video exactly, but um, it's always been gross to me, which is a little bit of a different
hold
point
on.
from yours, which I agree with your point, but I also just feel it's gross, like just to see anything that isn't Lego, to be fair, and especially those like not even Mega Blocks, not even like a big one, just like this random, probably
Fake the Lego blocks,
you know
basically.
yeah, it's just it because I know that if you put like a normal minifigure on one of those plates, the minifigure would break, the plate would break, everything would break, and it would be horrible, and you'd be sad.
No, I'm
So
not
it just
fully against fake Lego because again, there are people
yeah.
like companies who actually, for example, I don't know the name of this one, but I've seen them on Instagram a few times. They make actual custom
Mm,
cars from TV shows and stuff. Now they do use fake plastic
mm,
because of copyrights and stuff. But another thing, when I mentioned that fake plastic stuff, me and Octane, once again, we
mm.
dug deep into that an investigation about these fake sets, and we came to a conclusion. And reading the site's description stuff, they have poor labor manufacturing fake bricks in China. And basically, what they do, these companies are drop shipping. They purchase it from Amazon, from China, and then they drop shipping. Basically, that's what they do.
Is that drop shipping in relation to like okay, yeah, so they're just like a sort of a middleman almost.
Yeah, they're just buying the
Yeah.
products from China and just like selling them third party.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's tough. Like when I had this reaction which by the way, we haven't talked about this, the Lego Sonic sets. Oh man, there's a lot that's
Yes.
happened.
Brandon,
But
heard that.
I
We'll
about a year,
we'll discuss that in a bit.
yeah, a year or two ago, I ended up purchasing a big group of fake Lego Sonic um
Yeah, I remember I saw them.
things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which it's so exciting that there were so many of them, like of different characters and everything, and they molded heads and everything, very nice, and very cheap as well. But then they announced Lego Sonic sets, and I just felt like defeated. I was like, what have I done? I stooped so low. I was so close, but I couldn't. I couldn't restrain myself, and now I have all of these disgusting things that I shouldn't have, which will now be rendered useless. It's a sad feeling.
Yeah, that's me when Lego Zelda sets come out, basically in a nutshell. Now I'm playing.
Well, honestly, there is a really big, and this is a very specific feeling I'd like to discuss. Now that I have this idea that they're gonna make Lego Legend of Zelda sets, which it by all means it seems like they are. However, it seems so unreal that I can hardly say it with an honest face. There is a feeling of of loss, like I've lost something. Like when I put my perfectly printed and molded Lego Link next to like my custom Lego Goron, I feel like the Lego Goron's going to look worse as compared to how he looked next to a custom Lego Link. There's going to be a thing of like the official Lego Zelda and the custom Lego Zelda. There's going to be this division in my collection, whereas before it was all custom, and so there was this uniformity and unity between all of them. Do you feel this sort of sadness?
I do to some extent. I don't think it's a sadness. I just feel I see it more as like, let's say you just like, I don't know, like you completed your long life mission of something. Let's say I finished I finished the entirety of Hyrule Champion, for example. Let's use that as an example. There's gonna be a feeling of emptiness after that. Like I already, what is left to me? Like at this point, that's the feeling I see, at least.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I mean,
It's not negative, but it's just a feeling of emptiness at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, there's this idea in science broadly that all positive emotion, like all release of dopamine, it's actually associated with watching yourself move towards a target. So you set a target and then you go towards it, and as you get towards it, as you get further towards it, then you feel dopamine. But then once you get to the end, you get a little bit of dopamine at the very end because you've just moved towards the end, and then you get to the end. But then it's all over, right? Then the system's gone, and you got to make a new system. And so yeah, it's like it's not just a matter of there's going to be this division, but it's also a matter of over the course of 10 years, I've searched all Bricklink stores and every new release of any Lego set to see if there's ever going to be like a useful piece for this piece of Link or that part of Link, his legs, his head, and it's gotten so good. And my most recent version is just it's dang near perfect. But then there's going to be this like, okay, here's the real thing. It's just going to blow the system underneath it. And it's going to be like...
That is a problem. That is a problem.
Yeah.
You already know the whole history behind my Breath of the Wild Link figure. So once I receive the official one, it's going to be like, I wasted so much money on this, though.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not... That's exactly right. Yeah. Oh, man, the Bricklink orders I've made, so many. Probably a different Bricklink order per piece. And then there's going to be like the real thing, and each piece is going to be delivered all at once in one big set. And it's just going to be over. And then you're going to be like, well, there's not going to be better versions of this. So,
well, we'll see, because I guess we'll have to see, because of course the figure could be great, but we know how Lego is sometimes with their printing decisions. So there is still open space for customizing and stuff, I imagine.
That's true. The head, it's possible the head is just not, it's just going to be a reuse. But I think with these, like Horizon Zero Dawn head wasn't a reuse. However, it did have a very specific print that it needed. But I don't know.
It's like, for example, I imagine you would want to get 2 of the young Link figures to make an adult Link, the hat piece, I imagine.
Maybe 3, because I might want like Ben Drowned.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I would love to have like 30 of those sets, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I honestly don't know in terms of how many I'm going to get. At least two sets. And then maybe I'll order some pieces. It depends. There's also this thing that we need to talk about with Great Deku Tree. I mean, what a perfect choice in terms of the fact that you can now have 2 different sets in one. And also just in the fact that I haven't built a giant like a Great Deku Tree. Like there's a lot of things I had built, like, the Hyrule Castle, I built a version of that. Ganon's Tower, I built a version of that, but I haven't built Great Deku Tree for the life of me. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
But yes. What else?
Well, why don't we talk about those Sonic sets?
All right. Yes. What are your thoughts?
I love them. They have gotten me into Sonic. I am now a Sonic fan.
Oh wow. What? That is surprising. That's so interesting. Because of the sets, the Lego sets, you're now a Sonic fan.
Well, that's the thing. The same thing happened with Harry Potter back before I met you two.
Oh dang.
Yeah, I thought the sets looked cool. I got one, and then all of a sudden, I love it. Because basically, I start like researching the history and all the lore of the games, and then I get and just immediately it clicks.
Yeah, no, that happened to me with the Daily Bugle. I bought that, and there was so many minifigures in it. Like, what's her name? It's not Starfire, I don't think. It might be actually. It might be Starfire.
Firestar,
Firestar. Well,
which I
close.
just realized is literally
Huh.
the the name in
Yeah.
reverse.
Yeah. Well, so I was close. So yeah, there was Firestar. There was Punisher, Blade. All these characters who are like maybe like I knew a little bit about Punisher, but I really didn't know very well. So I just watched like 3 YouTube videos per minifigure as I built it, and it was very fun. It was very rewarding. But which set did you get? Which Sonic set?
Well, I have 4 of them.
Oh, you got 4 now. What was the first one though?
The Tails Tornado Workshop set.
Oh, sick. Yeah, that's a really good one. That's a really good one. Which ones do you have now?
I have that one. I have the starter set. I have the Amy's Animal Island set, and I have the Death Egg
Yeah.
Robot.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have the Amy's Animal Rescue and the Death Egg Robot. They're so good. They're so good. I really love them.
Nice.
Yeah. So what was I going to say? One of my favorite things about this, and I mean, this is immediately going to be broken with the next wave of sets. But what I like about this first wave is that no character is exclusive to one set.
Interesting. That's an interesting thing. I kind of feel the opposite, just because I wish there were more minifigures but
Well,
I guess
yes, but here's the
more
thing: is that like if
exclusive,
you're
I guess.
someone who can't get all the sets at the same time, all you need is like the Amy's Animal Island and the Death Egg Robot, and you have all 4 minifigures.
That's right, and that's exactly what I did, actually. Yeah, no, I think I changed my mind. I agree with you. I do wish there were more minifigures, but I do
Well, yeah, like
like the way that you can.
Knuckles should have been in that $100 set. Of course, that would break what I'm saying, but at the same time, it's like the fact that he wasn't there from the start is a bit surprising. We should not have gotten Amy before Knuckles. I'm just saying.
I sort of agree with you. However, I do see the logic.
Well,
I
yeah,
guess
I see it
like,
too. I just think that it's a bit weird. I mean,
it is a bit weird.
No, wait, no. What am I talking about? Because, well, doing that Sonic research, Amy actually debuted before Knuckles, so it actually makes sense.
Oh dang, you're right. Sonic CD, right? Yep.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. So I never mind. I see it. I understand.
Yeah. However, I mean, I do. I mean, it's still the case that Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails are more. They're more together. Like you generally see them 3 together as opposed to Amy with them. Although she joins them anyway. But I do actually like the way that there's like multiple different groups of sets you can get everybody. It's a nice convenient sort of incentive for people to get. Yeah. Did you get any sets, Hylian Bricks?
As much I would like to, no. If anything, I'll just probably get it for the minifigures. That's all, really.
I mean, do you like Sonic? Do you like the minifigures?
I mean, I've never played Sonic, but I do like it because I've seen the movies, and yeah, it's interesting. I don't hate it, so I would get it just for the figures, if anything.
You don't hate it, so you're gonna get it. Good deal.
Yeah.
No,
I saw something somewhere that I really don't agree with.
Okay.
I saw someone say that these sets have a similar problem to the Mario sets you actually commented on the video, Zora.
Wait, which video do you remember?
The one that it's like oh well, these sets are just based on Sonic as a whole, not on a specific
yes
moment.
Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that video.
So
what was the comment I left?
Well, you said basically that you agree.
Okay.
And here's the thing, like I understand completely where that person's coming from. I understand the point they're making, and I'm not trying to trash them on the podcast. I'm simply saying though is that like you can't when you're making a new theme like this, you can't just like condense it to one like part of it. Like that's the thing is that like I know people can say, but Star Wars does that with the newest movies. That's true. But once that movie isn't new anymore, it just becomes part of the Star Wars theme.
Well, see, I hear your point. That's a good point, actually. It couldn't be fully condensed. But what would like? So the idea is though that like with Star Wars, then they have sets from like specific moments, and and it's easier, I guess, because it's for one, it's like a movie, so it's like there's actually individual scenes where each individual thing is there. So it's not like they could make a generalized, boring version of Star Wars, right? Because each
Yeah.
thing is in a specific scene. Uh, However, and then the other thing is that, like for instance, with Star Wars, then it's what is it? I think I lost my train of thought. It's Star Wars uh is oh yeah, so Star Wars is also a story. So like things only show up like every once in a while, and it's a part of the story. So again, it's each scene. However, with Sonic, then you repeat a lot of things, and there's specific Sonic iconography. I guess what he was trying to sort of talk about is like nowadays, it's not even just with Lego. The Sonic toys are very general poppy Sonic flavor almost. You know, it's like they get the main cast and you get Green Hill Zone and that's it. Whereas what you could do is you could have like the Sonic sets now, like, but you have maybe not just like general Death Egg, not from any specific game, general Green Hill, not from any specific game, but you have certain stages instead of it all being Green Hill. Then you get one Green Hill, two Green Hill, three Green Hill, even. But then you get some from the other, some from some other specific stage that's been in Sonic, and then maybe you get chaos. You get chaos instead of just all being
Yeah, I mean
general
that's the
robot.
thing though, is that like the only set I feel like his logic
Mm.
applies to is the Death Egg robot, because like if you're literally pointing out the Death Egg robot and it's not shown at the Death Egg, then yeah, it's kind of easy to make that comparison.
True. Actually, I do change. I change what I mean. I guess I change what I because the Death Egg I like. That's a really good set, and they should, obviously have made the Death Egg. I can't really fault that. I guess what's more at fault is the fact that there are actually a good amount of sets, a lot of sets, but maybe even specifically aside from the Death Egg, they're all in terms of like the location they're at. It's not that it's just Green Hill. It's like it's all very like there's that one set, not the one with the loop de loop. It might have been the starter set, but it's the one where it just has like a chili dog stand and like a rock and roll band thing.
Yeah.
And these are things that like almost haven't ever shown up in a Sonic game. Like there was what is it, Sonic Underground, which was a TV show where Sonic was in a band. But like this set wasn't about that. There's these scenes where it's like these scenes aren't really from any specific Sonic thing. They're just kind of general things Sonic could do. And it's like it feels almost like they don't know anything about the games. And obviously off the top of my head, I can't really come up with a better thing they could have put in that specific set. However, I believe that like you could get, from City Escape, you could get like a ramp and like a building or something. That could be cool. Or
Yeah.
a plane from one of the games that they were in. Like or E102 Gamma or Omega. One of these actual things from Sonic that they could build, and you could be like, okay, this is a cool Sonic thing, and then the people who actually care about Sonic could like it. However, it would be something that a normal person who doesn't know anything except for the fact that Sonic exists and maybe he dates Amy, though that person might not know what is in that set. I don't think that would be too big of a problem. I just feel like almost Sega's kind of they are too focused on let's keep this broad, as opposed to let's make it more specific and more. That's kind of the point that I think I sort of agreed with. However,
Yeah,
you're right. I
yeah.
mean,
I mean,
they
I
couldn't
see
do
it.
it all.
I just another thing though that like I mean this guy's probably gonna the guy's probably gonna lose it when he sees Wave 2, because like the Shadow set just immediately goes even further in the opposite of what we're saying.
What do you mean?
Well, because it's based on, I'm thinking Sonic Heroes, because Shadow's breaking out of a lab tube like he did in Sonic Heroes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But he's riding the motorcycle from Shadow the Hedgehog the game, and but the background is Speed Highway from Sonic Adventure 2.
Well, honestly, with that, I feel like maybe the guy who made that video wouldn't like that, but I personally think that that's actually pretty good. Like,
Well, yeah, I like that
it's
idea
more
because
specific thing.
that's the main 3 games Shadow appeared in at the time.
There you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are things that are specific. They're not like it's not like it's Shadow in Green Hill Zone again. It's Shadow in
Yeah,
on a bike that's from a game that he was in. In a set that's from the game that he was in. Even the box art is from a game that he was in. Like these are all very specific things, specific references, as opposed to general schlock. It almost feels like I really like the Shadow set specifically. And
yeah.
I like the new wave. I also really like the fact that Rouge the Bad is in it because Rouge is like sort of
Well,
a niche character.
Rouge isn't in the Shadow set.
No, no, she's not. She's in the other set, which I don't think has been fully revealed yet.
It hasn't. I haven't seen anything from it except the Rouge and Knuckles minifigures. But the name
Yeah.
of it, from what I've heard, doesn't make any sense. It's like the Knuckles mech set, and I'm just like, what? Are we
Yeah.
already doing that? Are we already at that point?
What point is that? What point do you mean?
It took Lego Star Wars 20 plus years to start doing the mechs.
Yep,
And then
yep.
it took Marvel 10 years to start doing. I'm just saying, is that like we can't be at that point already? Not
Yeah.
even in a full year, we can't be starting to do mechs for Lego Sonic.
Yeah, I don't know.
I am sure the name has to change. Like, there's no way it's actually just a Knuckles mech.
I heard a leak that said that it was gonna be a Knuckles mech and a Rouge hang glider, I believe. Which is
That makes no
beyond
sense
me.
because she can fly.
That is correct. That is correct. Why does she need a hang glider and why does Sonic need a car? I heard it's because he needs a license or something, but that anyway. Yeah, no, but I do like the fact that Rouge a sort of like she's not Robotnik, right? She's not a character that is kind of very common. She's kind of specific, and so I like that idea. I hope they're moving more into that direction. I mean, I got the huge thing I got of fake Lego Sonic things. Rouge wasn't even in there, so she's somewhat weird. She's somewhat a weird choice, which I like.
Yeah.
Also, the arms for Rouge are going to be very nice for Zelda from Twilight Princess and from Ocarina of Time because they've got the skin tone on the top of the arm and then the bottom of the arm is white. So that's going to be very nice.
Amazing.
Yeah, which technically that does exist already, but it's currently priced at like $30 because it's from the Disney Castle set, the new Disney Castle set. So
Yeah.
a bit too expensive for me to buy two of. But yeah, that's gonna be good. So yeah, the Sonic sets are very good. What is
Yeah.
the yes?
Well, basically,
Yeah.
I really appreciate how
Hmm.
what's the word? All out Lego is going with the theme too.
Yeah.
Like, I just
no,
appreciate
really,
the amount of the sheer amount of marketing they're really pushing with it.
Oh yeah, did you see that was that video of like the Lego employee like got hypnotized by Robotnik?
Yeah, I just think that like really I don't know, like that just I'm sure you guys
Yeah.
know what I mean. I just think that like
Yeah,
that like I don't know, like it feels like they're putting more care into this theme
Yeah.
than a lot of others, which is good.
Yeah, no, definitely. It reminds me of the Minecraft when the Lego Minecraft wave first came out, the one back when it was still from Lego Kuso, which is now Lego Ideas. It was like the micro builds of the worlds and stuff. When those were coming out, then they did a very weird advertisements where like the Lego company was like they were playing Minecraft, they were pretending to be Steve, and they were like going like in real life, and then they like pressed print on the Minecraft game that they were playing on the computers, and then the printer printed out like and then they built it, and it was a very weird thing. But it was one of those things where it's like this isn't even like a really like high end commercial that people like came over and started like filming. No, these are just like the Lego employees recording whatever they want and then using that as their marketing, which is it's a very wholesome thing. It's like Lord of the Rings when they did the designer interviews, and these people were very passionate about Lord of the Rings. It was great.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're doing like a whole wave, like that is kind of what I hope for Lego Zelda.
I will lead into more about Lego Zelda once we're done talking about Sonic.
Yeah.
Because there is a good segue. But trying to think what else.
Sure.
I do appreciate how
Hmm.
like you can really see the evolution from like the idea set to the new theme.
Yeah, they're with the dag tag and
Yeah,
the loop de loop and everything, and the
but see
obviously
that.
the actual Lego idea set.
But here's the big thing. Like this is the thing. We've kind of been
Hmm.
dancing around this.
Yes.
I went on a whole rant on it in episode 8.
Yeah.
The way this compares to Mario.
Here we go to the favorite topic, Lego Mario.
Let's go.
I'm just saying is that you look at this
Yep.
theme and then you look at Mario and you just realize it's like, well, Nintendo
Mhm.
won the console wars, but Sega won the Lego wars.
Sega does what Nintendo don't again. Yep.
Like, for real. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is Sega's comeback victory.
That's right. Yeah.
Because that's
so
the thing.
listen,
Listen, I'm not going to speak for all you guys out there,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure between that's the thing. I know Hylian doesn't have them yet. No offense.
No offense.
Sure.
Well, you
Sure.
don't have the Sonic sets.
Yeah, sure. I don't have them.
Do you take offense?
No.
Good.
Okay. So, but Zora, you do. So you can agree with me on this. I'm pretty sure we're both having more fun with the Sonic sets than the Mario sets.
Yes, so much. I don't know if anybody else knows this, but I'm gonna have to whisper because I am in public. I actually play with my Legos. I actually play with them.
I will admit it freely on here. I do too.
There you go. It's
Right.
something that's actually.
No,
Wait,
no shame in admitting it.
What'd you say? No shame in admitting it. Thank you.
No shame.
No, because it's actually honestly like I'm trying to be a filmmaker, and so being able to play is like writing. Basically, you're writing a story, and
Well,
the
yeah.
Lego
Like, you guys want to know a little something?
helpful. Please.
Okay. So people have asked me, how do I have so much of the Spider-Man series I work on, Spider-Man
Oh
Golden
no!
Years?
Please.
People ask me, how do I have so much of it planned out? Well, the thing is that a few years ago when I would play with my Spider-Man minifigures, the story you guys have seen in Golden Years is that story.
Oh man! Yes.
That's why I've been able to get episodes out so fast, because I already know the
Yes.
angle I'm going for. I already know what I'm
Yes.
doing. I don't spend time like figuring out like what's gonna happen. Like I basically just figure out like how we get to the end part.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I have to say, and I have to say this. There's been a few games that I've been playing that have. It's not like one sitting, right? It's like you go in for one sitting, you then go back the next night or the next day and a few days, and they just keep going on and on and on, and the characters keep developing. And I've had just a few games that were like really big and that were like that. One of them was Sonic. One of them is a Sonic game that's honestly still going. I'm still playing with it. And that actually started before the Lego Sonic sets. I had, the main Lego Sonic figure from Lego Ideas, and then I got, those fake Sonic guys, which I got, and I used them.
Well,
And the
basically,
other one, the other big one, which I did besides the Sonic game, which is the longest running, is Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man, and I started it when the Daily Bugle set came out. It's Spider-Man. It was a beautiful thing. I can't, obviously it's one of those experiences that nobody else can share unless, like you just turn it into a series and then everybody can watch it. But it was beautiful. Go on.
yeah. I with those Hylian, Octane, and I were talking last night, and I said this. I'm not really like for all these like knockoff minifigures and stuff, but but sometimes I think to myself, if that's literally your only option, then it's not really that bad. Like if
fair enough.
let's say like I used to collect Lego Clone Troopers all the time. You should not be collecting knockoff Clone Troopers unless you just literally have no money.
Like, that's fair.
And I'm not like trying to insult people that don't have a lot of money, because like I'm not trying to be like that nasty about things. I'm just saying though, is that Clone Troopers, like if you don't care about the kind of Clone Trooper you want, then they're not hard to get. Like
Well,
the
I'm
ones
kind
the
of
ones from
against
2013
it.
are like $2.
Wait, yeah. So why are you against it then?
Well,
It's
because
well,
that's the thing is that I'm against it in terms of like ones that are easily accessible or ones that
Yeah,
already
yeah,
exist.
yeah. If you want like, if you don't care which one you get, then
Like
that's that. However,
like
if you want
using
like Space Through Captain Rex, as of like 3 months ago, before the new one is here,
well, yeah, but
or whatnot,
also
then
like using Sonic as an example, like we said earlier, there's only 4 minifigures, and we know 3 more are coming. So like
yep.
you don't need to get a Sonic, Amy, Eggman, Tails, Knuckles, or Shadow minifigure like off of like
Mm.
AliExpress or whatever. But I promise you, Lego is not prioritizing characters like Fang the Sniper or Ray the Flying Squirrel or Big
Yeah.
the Cat or
Unless
Tikal
they
or
do unless
Chaos.
they do a CMF. They might do a CMF. I feel like
Okay,
that's
well
possible.
then yeah, if they do a CMF, then yeah. But I'm saying until
I'm
something
sorry.
like that, if you guys out there want to get knockoff Sonic minifigures, I'd say like, and if you can't afford the sets, then go crazy. But like, if you can get the sets, then only get characters our Lego isn't making right now.
Hmm.
Like, so
Now,
that's
Hylian
why
Bricks,
like I
you said
order
you're
characters like what?
Hylian Bricks said that he was against it. That he was against it. Is it even if it is cheap?
Even if Lego, wait, how was it that you said, Brandon?
What?
How was it that you said that even if that there's no other option, something like that?
Well, that's the thing is that like uh characters like okay, all right, for example, I got a Kratos minifigure. Lego is, to my
Oh,
knowledge, never going to make a Kratos minifigure.
maybe not.
And okay, so that's kind of where I'm going because yes, even if they don't make it, you could still use your creativity. And I know that I
Mm,
probably should be the person who should least be talking to this as a person who received many criticism. Uh, Not many, but to some extent, I've received some criticism regarding some of my brick build characters. For example,
oh,
let's use Kratos, like you said, because that's an actual human, so you don't have to like brick build him like I do with my
yeah.
Zora, Rito,
Yeah.
Mm,
and Goron stuff. At least, for example, off the top of my head, Kratos, just use a Drax figure, get a black beard,
yep.
get some straps, armor type
Yeah.
stuff, and you got a pretty
Yeah.
solid Kratos.
My brother has a Kratos minifigure he built, and he actually uses a torso like it's a sweatshirt that just has it's like a white sweatshirt with the red lines. It's pretty good. He uses
But again,
skeleton
I
head.
just like sometimes I think though that like that isn't enough almost. It's like
Mm,
you guys have seen those Five Nights at Freddy's things I build.
that's
It's
true. I
like
have some.
those minifigures are better than whatever I or anyone else could come up with. I am not like a painter. I do not do that. The most I paint is like the occasional like stripe on something. So like that is the best
True.
option if like because listen man, like they made like there was this company named McFarlane and they used to make construction sets. Yeah, you want those these days, have fun paying
Mm,
$300 for one set.
mm.
So it's like
It's
those
kind of
FNAF
also like
minifigures
this.
are the best option.
It's kind of like the fake, for example, the very popular fake Link figures. Like, yeah,
Yep.
I
Yep.
this is
Okay,
the
but
only way
Link
I
is an
could
easier
accept it.
character. I'm referring to characters that like you can't really do much yourself. Like that's
Well,
the
I've
thing is
kind of
that
lived
Drax
through that
minifigure is all
experience.
right, but it is not one-on-one with Kratos. And that's the thing is that these Sonic
Mm,
characters require specially molded heads. So you can't really
Sure.
be
mm.
doing like the best I could do in terms of like a custom minifigure, like you astute Sonic fans out there, you know about Mecha Sonic from Sonic and Knuckles. I made that by using the Sonic minifigure head. So
Well,
like I
okay.
cut
Look,
off the ears, painted the eyes, and there we go.
okay. Yeah, that's actually
I
not a bad
mean,
idea.
I still see
But
it.
but
I still don't see space for excuses, at least, because I mean, again, look at
Okay, but if I want
look
a
at myself.
minifigure
Look,
of like Fang the Sniper, I have no option because that he needs a specially molded head.
I
well,
don't know
okay.
what character
Here.
is.
This is
Well,
actually quite nuanced because I've been there. I must have been 9 when I first wanted to have Lego Sonic, and this was before Lego Ideas. This was before Lego Dimensions. There was nothing, and so and this is something I faced, and I did go the Hylian Bricks way. I got the Travis Scott brick, and I got some
Scott brick.
cheese wedges.
Yeah,
The
they
what?
always work.
They always
it's-
work. And I got what was it? I used some blue cheese wedges and I made Sonic, and I made all the other characters as well. And man, I remember this specific scene in the Lego game where Sonic just came in, he destroyed everything, he was badass, he looked awesome, and it was awesome. Now there is an element of there's so that is an option, and that's always an option, and yet you're right, it won't be 1-to-1 scale, and there is a bit of like if you're doing a build and you're wanting to have him be a very key piece of the build, there's a few different things. The one thing is color is always the most important, which Hylian Bricks seems to have a natural knack for. If you get the color right, then people will kind of understand what you're doing, and then also get the shape as close as you can. Now that still there leaves an element of it's not perfect.
Of
And
course,
yet-
I mean, same with any purest Lego to some extent. It will never be perfect. Like as
That's
perfect
right.
as my figure is, it will never be perfect. Now, I'm not fully against like purchasing fake Lego at customs like that because, of course, for example, bringing that back to the Zelda custom fake minifigures, like you could, for your example, Zora, you took the Zelda skirt piece and used it for the dress for your Zelda figure in your Ganon's Tower video. That's for me,
true.
that's perfectly fine because, of course, there is decent purist options, but that is a piece that it's not too distracting, and you can still feel creatively fulfilled because you made a custom yourself. You just use this tiny piece because it's
Well, also
perfect.
though, like
It's-
sometimes, like
it's
if you
a
look
small, yeah.
if you look at like Golden Years, the Spider-Man series, for example, it's like that Doc Ock I used, those arms are not official.
Yeah.
Like, those are from a
That's
movie.
true.
It's like I could not pull off half the shots I do with him using the official arms from Lego. It's just not, they don't move like that.
Well, at least it would be extremely difficult, especially like if you're using specific like the version from the Daily Bugle. I don't know if you know
Yeah,
the way it's built, but it's like that you would have. It's possible you could animate it that way, like you use a bunch of those and then you sub out like studs here and there, but
It
that
would
would
just be a lot.
like it would be extraordinarily difficult. It would be
But
like
also, like
90%
sometimes
of
you have
the
to take into
effort.
consideration, like if you're getting like one of these minifigures based on like a character that already exists in Lego, sometimes you have to consider like the availability of that minifigure. Like for example, the Grand Admiral Thrawn minifigure I own is not official because that
Yeah.
Thrawn minifigure is crazy expensive. So there's
It
not
is
really a choice.
Well, there is a choice. However, it's not a. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I don't feel like paying over 100 for a Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Again, I'm
No.
not against it. It all really comes down to your morals, I guess. Same with like
Well,
buying.
and that's the
it all
thing.
comes
It's
down
the
to
same
morals.
with these Sonic characters, though, just
I'm
in a
not
different
against,
way.
I'm
It's
not
like
against it, but like again,
but
I
these
personally
Sonic
prefer to
minifigures,
promote
like Lego
activity
hasn't
and
made
all that
them
stuff.
yet, and it's not. But once Lego does, those minifigures become obsolete.
True. Well,
Like
there's
that's the thing, is that it was very difficult for me to
small-
find minifigures of Sonic and Tails when I first got them. But now that there's actually minifigures of Tails and Amy and all of them, it's like they're easier to find than ever.
Zora, at least this is the way I see it. Zora, let me just think of one. It's just with I can't even speak. Brickable's characters. It's just a tiny detail of it that I don't know what it is. It's with the Travis Scott brick and stuff. It's just a charm. Like you feel like it's a cute little detail. It's when you finish building, it's a cute little detail. Like I managed to build this character, and for say like maybe someone out there does not like it because it's brick built. But it's just,
well, I think the best example of a brick built minifigure not looking right is the Eggman from the Idea set.
Oh, I agree with that one. I agree with you there.
Like, all right, because
also,
Eggman needs to be the
very
type of
perfect.
minifigure that he is.
Before the Sonic sets came out, we did have like the new Sonic Wave. or even the Idea Sonic, we had the Dimension Sonic figure, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like for example, even so, back then when there was no Tails minifigures, I did see very decent Tails custom figures being like with that one fox mold. Even with the FNAF characters, I've
Yeah.
seen like very decent purist figures. So like that's
But
why
again,
I
it's
think
just that like if you're looking at
it's not
that,
accessible. It's not easy to access. But with again, like with Zora said later, going on like Bricklink and stuff, just searching for pieces. It's
I
kind of
know,
a hard
but
process,
but
and it's
sometimes
so
I think
fun
about
and
that,
feels
and then I
so
think about
fulfilling when to
end
do it.
result. The end result of a brick built character compared to one that looks actually like the thing to a T.
Well, I think what's important here is the wording. So it's called purist customs,
Well,
and
yeah, I
there's
know
something
that.
to
I'm
that.
just saying
There's
though,
something.
is that like
Well, no, no, no,
sometimes though
no.
that just that
I
like
mean,
that's not enough.
no, I'm not saying that you have to be purist. I'm just saying that in the word, there's an element of like it's not just that you're choosing that Lego will be the best in terms of how it will look. You're choosing. It's a sort of a
It's artistic.
like it's an artistic thing. It's like you're saying, well, it's not just a matter of how the ABS plastic happens to look. It's a matter of like, what is this? Like, is this going to be like if you like they're like this? It's like if somebody said, "Hey, look, it's a big statue made out of chocolate." You're going to be like, "Whoa!" Like, especially if it's really big, you're going to be like, "What the heck? That's amazing!" But then if you see one and somebody says, "Look, it's a big statue made out of plastic," but 90% of the inside is like metal and it's hollow. It's like, well, okay, they look the same on the surface, but it's a matter of like, it's not just like what it's made out of on the surface. It's not just what it looks like on the surface. It's what it's like the composite. It's like the body composition of it. It's like, is this
Yeah.
something that you can look at and be like, wow, all of those came out in Lego sets, or is this something that you can look at and be like, wow, all of that's on Bricklink, or all of that somebody had to
Well, I mean,
find pieces
I
for this,
guess
or is it
again
just a
though, is
matter
that
of
like sometimes though that like it doesn't work. It's like it works for
well,
characters that are like bigger. So like Daruk, that works as a brick built thing.
that's
Like
true.
that
That does work very
that
well.
wouldn't work as a minifigure. Same thing with like I don't know the moblins and all the bigger enemies. It's like they don't work as minifigures. But if you take a character that does work as a minifigure and then all you do is brick build the head, it's like that doesn't look right.
So you're
It's
saying
like
that my
something's
style?
wrong with it. It looks like a bobblehead.
Nah.
Well, to be fair, Sidon looks attractive in every
No,
version of
he's
himself.
even worse.
But but I see your point, and I actually I disagree in certain places. Like I do think that there's a lot of minifigures that could actually work as minifigures. Like for instance, Daruk. I think he could work as a minifigure. Now, to be fair,
Okay, well, maybe
he
yeah,
is
I'm
huge.
just
He might be weird,
Listen to
but
me.
he like
You want a minifigure Daruk? I got you. I
think it's
I
possible.
literally have
I
all
just
this set
think
up
though
in the
that
day
like
I want to do it. Yeah.
again, I'm not saying that like and you watching, don't let us decide for you. I'm just
Yeah.
saying though is that
Yeah.
like it doesn't keep me up at night when I get characters that Lego haven't made or will not
Yeah.
make.
Yes.
So when I buy a
Yeah.
Kratos on AliExpress for $2, I just think to myself, well, it looks better than anything I could make, and I'm gonna have a Kratos minifigure. That's kind of all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If Lego's never going to do it, then it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, it comes down to morals, really.
You're right.
Well, the
You're
thing
right.
is that it's not taking money out of Lego's wallet because they are not making it.
No, I wouldn't even say that my personal bias is motivated by the fact that it takes that money out of Lego's like pockets. I don't even think that. Like, if like I don't even think that. I mean, for one, before Bricklink was owned by Lego, buying pieces from Bricklink, none of it went into Lego's pockets. Like, it doesn't really matter. But and I have to be very clear. I want to be very clear. Like, I don't actually think that you should change your mind, Brandon, Mr. Bgoldbricks. I genuinely don't. I don't think that like you.
Well, yeah.
have
Again,
to
like we're
that.
not trying to convince each other to think the
Yeah.
other way. We're just trying to plead
I'm
our
just
case.
trying to
Is that
explain.
at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
exactly.
like we're all gonna do what we're gonna do.
True, that is always the case. But I do. Yeah, it's not that it's even bad. I almost admire you, honestly. Like, I admire the fact that you can do that because I've tried, and I actually have to say this. full disclosure, that dress piece that I used for Zelda, I don't use it anymore. I went back
Really?
and forth, I think, a few times, and I've replaced it with the one I used to use, which was the Egyptian Queen dress piece from one of the CMFs. I'm using that again, which is decent. However, it is one of the old style dress pieces, which isn't
Yeah,
like the new
that's
style, which is
something
kind of
to
sad.
compare.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. But the new dress piece is probably worse because it's just blank. But anyway, like I've gone back and forth, but at the end of the day, and this is almost comes back to the issue of like when we get to finally get the Lego Link thing, it will sort of change the composition of my Lego Zelda collection. Because right now it's, I have this display case, which I don't think I've ever shown in any video, but it's very cool, where it's just like a display case of minifigures, basically. And I keep all of the Lego Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask minifigures in that. And they're all, I can look in them now and I can be like, that's all Lego. That's all like, and there's some purity to that just feels satisfying and creatively, I guess. Now, maybe it's like sort of a weird purity, and a purity can often be a weird idea, but there's something creatively satisfying about that. And so, yeah.
But also, I wanna clarify something here. Is that
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like I am completely for buying all of these knockoff Legos, because
Mm.
I don't think you should buy a knockoff Lego set. I just think that like
Mm.
if you want a minifigure of a character, and
Mm.
more specifically a character that isn't going to be made for either ever or for a really long time,
Mm.
then get it, because there's no other option.
Yeah,
Because
I
like
do
if
agree
you make
that. Yeah.
either make your own or get that.
Mm.
It's like I'm not saying that you out there can't make a minifigure Kratos that's better than the one I own, because that's pretty possible. I'm just saying is that when I look at that and I'm like, well, they're never going to make it, but I would really like a Lego Kratos, and I don't have that Drax minifigure either because he's another expensive minifigure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just think that it's just easier to do that. And again, it's like
Yeah.
you can't even say that like that's that Lego isn't getting money from that, because that's not a market they're part of. They're not part of the God of War market.
True. Yeah.
And
And
same thing with like these other
yeah.
Sonic characters, is that like
Yeah,
people
exactly.
buying the Sonic minifigures of characters that don't exist in Lego yet is not going to make the sets drop in sales, because people are still going to want those sets if they're fans of the franchise. It's that
Yeah.
people want these other characters so bad. It's like, well, then let's get these for now, and then when Lego comes around and makes it, we don't need these bad ones anymore.
Yeah.
Because listen,
It's very, yeah.
I think completely that like I have a lot of the knockoff Sonic minifigures. I do. And I think
Yep.
that Lego's designs for every single one are better than the knockoffs. So it's like I don't need them
Even
anymore.
Amy? Even Amy?
Amy especially.
Well, so the thing is, with the new Amy, then you can turn her head all the way around, which is nice. However, the tails, they look kind of squashed in. I'm not gonna lie.
A little bit, but that's the thing, is that like the only character I think is a bit like odd is and I'll explain why, is Knuckles, from what I've seen.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't taken a huge long look at the new Knuckles head. However, I think I do remember it looking a little bit like the Amy head, where like the tails are, or is that what they call it? The
It's
head
not
tails?
really that. Here's the thing, is that
Mm.
I
Oh,
posted this
yes.
I
I'm
posted
excited
this
to
in my
talk to you about it.
story.
Yeah.
So the knockoff Knuckles minifigure has custom hand, like the boxing glove pieces with the spikes on the end, and I like that. But from what I'm looking at with the official Knuckles, and I could be wrong about this. So like it's gonna come out like in a month and a half, in about a month. So like I could be very wrong on this. It looks like the actual Knuckles are just like things you like clip into the hands, like hand attachments. And
I think you're right.
if that's the case, then that's the one thing that I think the knockoffs do better.
Why? Why do you think it's better to have it be the hand thing?
Well, because that's the thing, is that like that's how Knuckles' hands look. So if that's something you need to clip into his hands, plus that means he can't have his like, well, the knockoff, you can't put his hands at his sides either. but like it kind of looks like with these new things, like he has to like have his hands in front of him, and if you turn them to the side, then you're gonna see him holding the attachment.
That's a good point. However, I do like it for two reasons. The first one is kind of weird. It's the Lego Dimensions one. That's the way it looked in the Lego Dimensions one. It was like a split piece attached onto his hands, which I always like when they look like the version from the games to some degree, because that was the first way that you were introduced to the character in Lego, right? Is the version from the game. Now, that's kind of a weird point, which kind of is maybe something only I've ever thought of or cared about. But the other point is it's bigger. Like the hands are bigger when they're attached on. Like I have the fake knockoff Knuckles, and I always thought the Knuckles looked a little bit too small, like compared to the rest of his body, because Lego minifigures are tall compared to Sonic characters in the games, right, or in the stories. They're always like these short little, they're literally supposed to be hedgehogs, sort of. I mean, not exactly. I don't know, but the hands look small compared to the rest of the body, and if they were larger, I would probably like that. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Though it is weird. It is weird that they're just clipped on, and it's going to be very
I just think
to
that
take
like
his knuckles
it's
off.
just a bit odd. But I mean, at the same time, it's like I still think overall it looks better. And
Yeah,
Shadow especially, like Shadow more than any other, I think like is a massive improvement.
Yeah, and it's also important to note, like the fact that they haven't made, for instance, Shadow and Knuckles in the first wave, and the first wave it seemed like they reused a lot of minifigures, which is very helpful in some ways, but also sort of like to look at the wave as a whole, it looks like there's a lot of repetition. Well, these minifigures are very expensive for Lego. They all have new molds, which is very rare for a series like that. And so it kind of makes sense they're spreading out what they're doing.
Well, also I think that like now I'm just kind of guessing here. It's like so you have the first wave with Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Eggman. So that's like 4 heavy hitters right there. Like you have like that's 4 of the main characters, and then you round it off with Knuckles in the third wave. That is your original 5 characters right there.
Yep, there you go.
Like and if Metal Sonic was there too, there you go. That's your original 6. But I just think that if we have the first wave with those 4, if Knuckles and Shadow were in the first wave and not in the second, then I don't know if there would be as much of an incentive to get the second wave as soon as the first.
That's true.
Because that way it's like, hey, this wave we have 3 more great characters, but this time they're actually exclusive to the sets they're in. So it's like, there you go. That's your incentive to get these sets beyond just liking the characters.
That's right. Now, who do you think is coming next? I would say probably Metal Sonic, but I would definitely say, what is it? Super Sonic, and then probably Silver sometime after.
Yeah, I think that like the next character they really need to make is Super Sonic. Like I think that like that is very important, and all they have to do is reuse the Shadow head.
Reuse Shadow. Yep, you got me. Yep.
Or a new piece. I mean, that's the thing is that like, they could make a new piece.
They could. It seems like it would be strange, especially the way that they've molded the Shadow head, which is very good. It just seems like it could also be reused.
Well, yeah, but also like Metal Sonic for sure. Like he needs to be there.
Yeah. He seems like a pretty big staple, especially in terms of modern Sonic toy.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that if Metal Sonic was in the first wave, we would have had every character from the first 3 games.
That would be cool, actually. But
and
still,
for those uneducated out there, I say that because Sonic CD came out before Sonic 3, so Knuckles wasn't around yet.
And Sonic 3 came out before Sonic and Knuckles, but I think Knuckles is in both, so nonetheless.
Yeah, it's both of them is the real experience.
That's right. Yes. So you said there was a segue to LEGO Zelda. How?
Oh yes, okay. So last note on the Sonic sets, fantastic. Go buy them if you don't have them.
I love them now. They're great. They're so
pause the video, go get them, and then come back. We'll be waiting.
I'm so excited for Knuckles. Knuckles has always been my favorite, so I'm very excited for that. Like really, I really love it.
Yeah, but and they trust me, take my word for it. They help. Well, I mean, I've always kind of liked Sonic, but like these sets have really done it. So
oh yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully they inspire you to dive into the lore of Sonic and become a fan yourself.
But don't actually dive because Sonic
Well,
can't
yeah, there's no
swim,
diving in this pool.
breathe underwater.
Okay,
Yeah.
so as for the segue, so there's a thing that Sonic and Minecraft have in common that I think might
Yes.
be able to apply to Zelda.
They're video games.
Okay, obviously, but
Oh
Okay,
my
yeah.
they
God,
both start off
dude.
as idea sets and then become their own theme.
Okay,
That
actually,
is
yeah.
true.
Oh, I love this. I love this idea. Continue.
So that's the thing, is that when we got that Sonic idea set, it wasn't even based on the one submitted, but we were all up in the air as to whether we were even getting more. And here we are. We already know about a second wave, so it's like there's more coming. So
Yeah.
and it was the same thing with Minecraft. Like when I first saw that Minecraft set in the stores back in whenever it came out, I was like, oh, this will be the only one. And then here we are. It's still being made today.
That's right. Well, Minecraft is a very specific case because it's like the highest grossing game ever, except for maybe Tetris, which
Yeah.
has been around for like 10 times the length that Minecraft has been around. Minecraft is a very big thing. Zelda
Yeah.
is
So
well, but not even close. I mean, not even close. If we're being honest,
what?
more so now because of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom being super successful. But if we're being honest, not even close to Minecraft.
Well,
And
no, because
so,
if it was, it would have gotten the theme first. Let's be real here.
well, that's a very good point. That's a very good point. Yeah.
But
so
that's the thing, is that I don't know of many ideas things where I didn't see a Zelda project submitted.
that's true. You're right. And then there's the element of Sonic, which I think is near to Zelda, maybe even below nowadays. Like the games are less successful nowadays for sure. It's more of a staple. Like Link didn't ever go into the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, so there's
Well,
that.
yeah, that's the thing, is that
However,
like you also this is a me thing mostly, is that I think
Sure.
that like Sega is much more like open to working with other people than Nintendo.
that's
Because, like,
true. Given
if
that
you look at how
Sonic
Nintendo
work-
goes about things and then Sega, you'll see a clear difference. Because Nintendo, like, their policy for like fan games, for example, is like any fan game will get shut down. Sega's policy
Yep.
is, oh, you have a fan game? Yeah. Are you making money from it? No. Okay, cool. Keep going with it.
Good. Yeah. No, you're right. That's a good point.
So
And then
I
also
think that
Sonic
like
was-
as soon
yeah,
as Lego approached Sega, they're like, oh yeah, let's do it. So like I'm sure it was very easy for them to get it for Dimensions. And I think that like Sega was just kind of waiting there, like, all right, are we making more? What are we doing here? And then eventually, Lego comes back, like, all right, let's make an idea set. Great, next year, can we make sets? Of course, let's go.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not saying that like
um,
Sega's company is perfect, because if you look up what Sonic's own creator has done, it's not the best thing. But oh, you hadn't heard?
no, not really.
Oh,
Me
it's
neither.
not like the worst thing ever. I mean, I think it was like embezzlement or something.
Not the worst thing ever.
Well,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying though, is that like I think that like Sega is not as like strict as Nintendo when it comes to this kind of thing. Because even when Sonic was first created, like he was just being thrown on whatever
That's
Sega
true.
could get a hold of, Sonic's on it.
Yeah, and they do more toys with Sega. They do a lot more Sonic toys, and they
I
also
also think that
Sega
like
works with Nintendo, right? So Sega had to go to Nintendo kind of on their knees and be like, can we come on your system? After fighting with them for like their entire existence. So
well, I also think that
definitely
like
have
this is a joke that my friends and I throw around. I'm gonna curse for you youngsters out there. So if you don't want to hear it, leave the room.
Wait, are we gonna censor this?
What?
Are you actually gonna curse? No.
You don't have to censor it.
No. We don't have to. Okay, go on.
Is it
Okay.
bad though?
Yes. Well, not really.
Bad and like very bad.
It's just the F word. It's not a big deal.
Okay, go ahead
Okay.
if you want.
Sorry,
I'm not
so-
responsible.
So I my friends and I joke around that since both Nintendo and Sega were fucked over by Sony, that they were just like, sure, let's work together. We've both been messed up by Sony.
You're right. That's funny.
That's
I like
the
that.
thing, is that people say that like Nintendo beat Sega with. I mean, they did, and then some people say that Sega just gave up on themselves. I'm gonna tell you what the problem here is that once the PlayStation came around, Nintendo wasn't Sega's main problem anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing
Because
that people don't say, but
because by the
yeah,
time the
right.
Saturn came out, like it's like Nintendo was already beating them. Then you have Sony, which is beating Nintendo, so that's just it for Sega. Like that's it. Sony kicked them out of this whole thing.
Yeah, which is a very sad thing to say,
Yeah, like
but you're
but
right.
also and I think that like but back to like Sega putting Sonic on everything. Like I like I said, I like research like Sonic's history. There were like these like places you could go. It was basically like Sega did like, you know how Nintendo has that thing at Universal.
Yes,
Well,
which
Sega
is
was
very
basically doing that way before Nintendo. There used to be like this Sega theme building or something, and like there was a ride in it, and there was like an actual Sonic animatronic. I'm just saying, is
Whoa,
that like
you're
that
right.
was back in the 90s when Sonic was still a new thing, and then it took
Yeah.
30 plus years for us to get that with Nintendo. I'm just saying, is that like
Yes.
that's the problem I think
Yeah.
with like how Nintendo goes about it versus how Sega goes about it.
Yeah.
But also,
Is
it's
it just-
funny to
yeah,
me
yeah,
I'm
go on.
saying all this when Nintendo themselves were like, yeah, we wanted minifigures, and Lego's just like, no, we're gonna do we are gonna do
did
this
that come out?
stupid what?
You
Did
do
that
know
come out
though
all,
that
like, did that come out all the way? Like I heard something about that. I heard that it wasn't fully their idea. Like Lego,
Well,
it was
I've heard
Lego's
that
idea,
a lot.
but
Is that Lego wanted the electric minifigure, and Nintendo wanted regular minifigures.
yeah. Okay,
So
well
I
that's
don't
very
understand. Like, so it's just funny to me that I'm saying like all this about how strict Nintendo is, yet they didn't force their hand with this one.
That's true. That's true.
Like
They didn't
you would
force their hand
think
with
that
this
like
one.
with how Nintendo goes about things, like whatever they say goes. It's like you either do how
Yeah.
we want it or you're done.
Well, I assume it's like this. I mean, Nintendo goes to Lego, or Lego goes to Nintendo probably, and Nintendo's like, well, let's do the thing that you always do, and then Lego has to explain this weird idea. And I think Nintendo, it kind of makes sense that Nintendo got on board, given that Nintendo makes video games, and Lego's idea was let's make this a video game. So Nintendo was probably like, well, Nintendo does like that sort of blue sky thinking. They've always liked the blue sky thinking with the Switch, with the Wii. Um, obviously, the DS and all of those systems.
Well,
They
I'm just
always like blue
surprised that
sky
like
thinking. So,
Nintendo is like letting it continue the way it is, because like
well, it's
I'm
successful, to be fair.
sure that it's like losing money, because like come on, I'm sure people are sick of it at this point. There's no way people aren't sick of it at this
They're
point.
making new waves. That's enough evidence for me. Like they're making
Well,
more
not
and more
really,
and more
because like
waves.
didn't they make like 2 waves of those Angry Birds sets and no one bought them?
They did, but so here's the deal with Lego. Usually they have a 3-year like sort of deal whenever they're making a series. Like yeah, a contract. It's not exactly a contract because generally the series isn't even with another person. Like Shima went for 3 years. Ninjago initially had 3 years before it was canceled and then rebooted in the series. Rebooted. They always have like Nexo Knights has 3 years. Dreams probably has 3 years. Hidden Side 3 years. It's always 3 years. Bionicle Generation 2 lasted for 2 years only because in the first year they realized how horribly bad it was selling, and so they rushed to cancel it early, and that's why it only got 2 years. But it was planned for 3 years. And so, but Lego Mario it's more than 3 years. We're up on like 5 years ish.
Well, I think well no, because it came out in 2020.
Okay, well then that's true. But they have renounced the
So
2020.
that's the thing though, Zora, is that they're not making the last wave comes out next year, so it is just 3 years. So
that's true, but I feel like they have expanded beyond their initial limits. I mean, they've made CMFs upon CMFs. I don't even know how many, like 5. I don't even remember. They made Luigi.
Yeah, but at the same time though, it's like, but like the outcry from fans is not in their favor.
Well, I'm actually not entirely sure because the people who would play with something like Lego Mario, their accounts aren't allowed comment sections on YouTube. They're probably a bunch of kids playing with these.
Well, yeah, but that's my
very
thing, is
interesting
that
toys.
I have never heard like any of the big Lego YouTubers give much praise to this theme other than how advanced the Mario figure is.
Well, that's to my point though. Those are all, older fans who generally like collecting things and like maybe building mocks and stuff like that. And these sets aren't very good for building mocks because they're not compatible in the way that minifigure scale things are compatible, and all of that. And they're not as displayability. There's not as much displayability because the weird digi figures, they just look ugly and gross. So it's like, in my opinion. So it's like, I think that they are for kids, and I think that the fact that they just keep making pretty big waves with all these different things, I don't think they're poorly selling. I really don't.
Okay,
And
all right, well, all right. I kind of misspoke with poorly selling.
Okay,
What
yeah.
I mean is that like, if you're like, I kind of think that like they're only appealing to a certain demographic, like
You're right.
unlike
You're
other
right.
things. Like I can see,
Right.
like that's the thing. If you have me at going on 22, enjoying playing with these Sonic sets, like actually like having Sonic go like,
Yep.
it's like, yet I haven't touched that Mario set since it
Yep.
came out.
Yep.
I'm
Well, it's
just
important
saying,
to note that. Yeah. It's important
It's
to note
not-
that the Sonic sets, they have the ability to. Sonic's gimmick is he's fast, and Mario's gimmick is he's in really good games. And so for Sonic, not that Sonic games are all bad, but some of them are. But Sonic, it was an ingenious move for Lego to do what they did with Sonic because you can go fast, but you still got the minifigures and everything else is perfect and it works great.
well, I also
with
like something
Mario
about
is
Sonic appeals to
really-
me personally is like the slice of life aspect. Like you have, like
Okay.
I love how in this big $100 Green Hill loop set, you have Eggman's machine, you have the giant loop and all that. Yet you have a little section for Sonic and Amy to sit. There's a grill, there's a chili dog thing, and there's a little pool
Okay, yeah.
float. I think
Yeah,
that
no,
like
yeah.
that's something. And you know what? In all fairness, like the Mario sets did that once. I think like with Yoshi's house,
Oh, they did?
or no, Mario's house with the little
Yeah.
bed outside. But like
Yeah,
that's the
yeah,
thing,
I love that.
is that like the Sonic sets can be for anyone. These Mario sets
Yeah.
like are only for people who will play with it.
Yeah, they had to make a trade-off because with Sonic you can have the game aspect for kids, let's say, with the fast speed and everything, which appeals to the game people. But then they also have the slice of life aspect with the same minifigures, and it all works perfectly. You can have both things, but with Mario, they sort of had to make a trade-off where they're like, okay, we can either go the Digi route and say this is for people who like the game, or we can go the minifigure route, and then we can say it's displayable. You can play with it easier. It's more
Well,
compatible.
I
It's,
think that like an
it's more of that
easier
slice of
solution,
life.
and I know this isn't as advanced as the Mario figure, but I think that it would have been kind of a smart idea if they brought back those super jumpers from like 2016.
Sure, yeah. But
'Cause-
you lose an element of it. You'd lose an element of it of like literally playing the game. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but
Those-
that's the
that
thing
would
is
just
that I'm
jump.
sure that they could have done something. It's like, but also here's the bigger thing is that I kind of get it with these mass retail sets. It's like, yeah. I mean, we're closely replicating Mario's gameplay. It's like you guys.
Oh, yep. I see where you're going.
It's like you guys want the Mario experience. Yeah, take these Mario sets with the digital figure. But these 18 plus sets or whatever, they have no excuse. They have no excuse. There is no excuse as to why there's no minifigures in them.
There isn't an excuse. I think I do know the rationale, which is they will draw attention from people who would, people who you would otherwise only have the digifigs and everything to buy. Their attention is going to be drawn to the minifigures, obviously, and then they won't buy those, and there'll be split attentions, and people will end
But
up
that's
not
my point.
supporting
Is that like it's not for them though? It's if they're 18
Yeah, well,
plus
you're
sets, then they're for us. So by
You're
that
right.
logic, the minifigures. I'm just saying is
Yeah,
that
you're probably right. Yeah. Although
here's
it
the
would
thing,
be
is that
expensive to
there
make
is
the
no
mold, I
reason.
think.
There is
Yeah.
zero reason that there was no Mario minifigure with that giant Bowser. It would have been perfect.
I think I just like playing devil's advocate, but I do see what you're saying. However, I think that probably the reason would be to make Lego Mario minifigures, it would cost a fair degree of money, which they generally wouldn't spend unless they were going to make a series, because it would sell in a series. However, then that would detract, and
But also,
then
well,
there's
that's the thing though, is that logic doesn't work when you take into consideration certain like themes that
Bambi?
like what?
They made a mold for Bambi to put into the like expensive 100 years Disney camera. It was Bambi. They also made Dumbo. Those were a lot of molds.
Oh yeah.
That kind of
Yeah, so
disproves what I
that's my
said.
point, is that like you have sets like that and then they do that
Yeah.
for it.
Well, I just made up another point though. Let's see if this one's stupid. So the idea could be, well, they know that will sell a lot, and so they're gonna wait until they can give you a series, or they give you. It could be a series, right? Because you're gonna want Mario, but you're also gonna want Mario and Luigi, and you're gonna want Princess Peach and all this, and all of that excitement would be insane if they put that in a like like let's say the cube or the Bowser. If they put it in that set, that's going to be super hype for that set. But it might be more. They might get more money if they put it into, let's say, a series later down the line once the DG figs have run their course, or maybe just like a different big set. Or I'm not exactly sure. It's like they would blow their load, so to speak, and then they wouldn't be able to use that later. That might be the reason. I don't know. Or they maybe really honestly, maybe they just don't know, because it is a super exciting thing for them to make minifigures of Mario. That's an amazing, exciting thing. And maybe they're just they just don't exactly know when they're going to do it, and they're kind of too scared. And they know right now, then the big Bowser, for instance, is super exciting in and of itself, and so they're like, well, we'll just save it for later. We'll save it. I don't know. I honestly,
Well,
I don't
I'm
know,
just saying, if they're not
I
making
don't know.
any more of these digifigure sets in 2024, if they don't make minifigures, this theme is going to die.
Yeah, I definitely believe that they will. I definitely believe they will. The second that they're not making digifigures, they're gonna make minifigures. Maybe the time will overlap. Maybe they'll be making minifigures with the digifigures.
But also, like,
They'll
also, I'm just saying
Yeah.
is that again, I misspoke when I said these sets aren't selling, because they are.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Hylian left.
What? Hang on.
Yeah.
What the heck? He was so bored.
All right, whatever. He's uneducated in Sonic lore.
That's right. Useless.
Okay, well,
my bad.
Oh,
There it is.
oh,
Yeah,
it said
I don't
you
know what
left.
happened.
Okay.
I thought I left. Yeah, it was so weird. Like all of a sudden the app stopped. So, but yeah, my bad.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm glad
But
you're back.
about them, so they're not like poorly selling. However, they're clearly not selling enough, because if they
Why do you think
were, Lego wouldn't stop them.
Are they stopping them? Do we
Yeah,
know
next
that's
year-
the final wave?
Yeah,
I
next year
believe
is the last
next
final-
year. Next year is the final wave of Lego Mario, if I'm
No.
correct.
I mean, I'm not
That's-
actually that sad. I haven't bought any of them, but
That's
something
my
about
point,
that.
though, is that then they're clearly not selling as much as Lego and Nintendo want them to.
Well,
I believe it's just it's just decreased sales, because even though when you go to stores, that's mostly what you see in the Lego aisle, just like random sets, and then you'll see like a few like Mario sets there, because not a lot of people do get them.
Yep.
I think hype just died out, which is kind of sad, but
Well, I also blame it on the fact that like this is the first time Lego has done something like this with one of these big themes. Like they haven't done like a weird experiment like this with other themes, like, and I'm talking themes on this level. So I don't want to hear people comment like, "Oh, well, Ben 10 was only construction figures." It's like Ben 10 is not on the same level as Mario.
True. However, at the time it was pretty high up. But
Well,
you're right.
of course. But here's the thing: if Star Wars was only those construction figures that no one likes, we wouldn't have gone past the first year.
That would be strange.
Lego Star Wars would have existed in
Angry Birds?
1999, and that's it.
I was gonna say Angry Birds, but that's a pretty stupid idea, given that
Yeah,
they
that's
didn't
the thing,
actually
Angry
do
Birds
anything
didn't
new
last
with it.
long. The only
And
one
not
of these,
that they didn't last long. It wasn't really that different. I mean, it was literally just what else would you want from the games except for the things in the games?
Yeah.
The Angry Birds was fun, and it wasn't even the games; it was the movie. But anyway, putting that aside,
here's the thing: the only exception to this, to me, is like Lego Scooby Doo, because like
did they
that's
do
everything we
anything
want.
weird
They
with that?
What?
Are you saying that that is similar to Mario?
No, I'm saying like that is an exception to the whole Lego. Like basically, it's like Scooby Doo is minifigures and all that, but it didn't really sell that well, or it sold like too much almost. It's like Lego Scooby Doo isn't a
Too
thing
much.
anymore. So
True. Well,
that's the thing.
yeah.
But it was minifigures. So like that is the opposite of what's happening here with Mario.
Well, in some sense, it's similar only because Lego Scooby Doo did sell well in one set. There was one set that sold well, and it's probably sold extremely well. The Mystery Machine, which is the
Yeah.
only thing that anybody would want from Scooby Doo, because there isn't an iconic Scooby Doo castle, for instance. There isn't an iconic Scooby Doo Mystery Machine colored hang glider plane. Like these aren't real things that people care about from Scooby Doo. Yet Lego made a whole wave of them because they thought the minifigures, let's say Velma, for instance, would be people would care about the minifigures enough that they would buy the giant sets so they could do it, as opposed to stuffing them all in one set, which everybody would buy immediately, but then they wouldn't be able to sell a whole theme that was like $100.
Right. So that's my point. Is that like if Lego did, but my point here is that if Lego did what they are doing with Mario with other themes, those other themes wouldn't last. The only reason this theme is even selling well at all is because it's Mario. If this theme was its like own thing, it wouldn't sell well.
No, I mean they actually to prove that is it's just look at all of the themes that Lego has made trying to cash in on apps. Like they've done it a lot of times.
Like
There was
look at Chima. Like that was literally like
well, Chima's an interesting idea.
Well, yeah, Chima is an interesting thing. I'm just saying, like,
not just
for
like
fans of Beyblade out there, y'all know about Bay Raiders. Yeah, Chima was Bay Raiders.
That I'm sure that's very funny if I knew what that was.
Okay, well, you know how Chima had those like motorcycle things?
Yes.
That's what Bay Raiders are.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying about the motorcycles. You're right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so
no,
I just again, it's just that like the fact that Lego is doing like the opposite of what they're most known for, and then like occasionally like other like niche things, that's what is kind of crippling Mario here. Is like with Star Wars, we get the big sets, we get the iconic minifigures, but then we also get these niche things like the helmet sets and the display sets and the buildable figures. Those sell well because of the brand, but also because people can just buy them without worrying that it's like, oh, but God, we're never going to get minifigures, because we do.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars has the luxury of it's big enough so Lego can have the core sets, they can have all these adjuncts, and they can judge, and they have, and like for instance, the construction figures, they were like, well, these suck, but they didn't bank everything on it, so it's not like they canceled Star Wars. And yeah, that's kind of what you said before. And they did that again with let's say the microfighters. Like they do still have one or two every now and again, but they were huge for a while. Then there was the planet sets, which they did a few waves and then they stopped. And they were able to adapt and learn what continues to sell. The UCS
that's my point. Is that
who
like,
knows if those would have been successful? But then they did the UCS sets and they were very successful, and they've continued for today. So I hope that they do continue to do that with Mario once like I really do, and I think that they probably will. They will do minifigures after the Digifigs. That's what I'm hoping.
What I just think is that like since Sega and Nintendo, since we have Sonic sets, if Lego makes like a buildable Genesis, people are still going to buy that because it's like, oh cool, we have our minifigure sets, but also this cool niche thing.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm not sure if they would do a Genesis, because they might do a Genesis, but I think it probably wouldn't sell nearly as well as the NES.
Let's be honest here, the Genesis is clearly the only console Sega made that they still care about.
That's true. Yeah, of the consoles that Sega made, then the Genesis would definitely be the one. But it's not the NES, and they haven't done a Super NES. They haven't done an N64. They did a Pac-Man thing.
Yeah,
I think. Is that right? That's so weird.
But also, like they made like Sonic Brickheads, and I'm just like, yeah, that works. It's like we did no Mario Brickheads.
Yeah, I feel like almost the Brickheads is like Lego. It's like the Lego company collecting themes. Like they're like, okay, like we're gonna make these sets for Sonic, and also Can we have a Brickheads? Like, can we? We're gonna do that
But
just
also,
to like
I love
immortalize
how
this.
they bring back themes that they didn't use for a long time. Like we got 2 Simpsons sets and 2 Simpsons minifigure series, and then years later we got a Simpsons Brickhead pack.
That's right. It's like the new Lego Dimensions, except boring, and I don't like them.
What, the Brickheads or Dimensions?
I just don't like Brickheads. No, I mean Lego Dimensions was amazing because you got minifigures.
Yeah.
Brickheads are not
But
minifigures.
that's the thing about Brickheads is that like they're there for the people that like them. They're not your
Yeah,
only
you're right, you're right.
choice. With
I think
Mario,
they're
it's
good
you get the
collectibles, if
digifigures.
anything.
What?
Yeah, they're just collectibles. You're right.
They're like Funko Pops and just Lego.
Yeah, so I'm just
That's right.
but with Mario, it's like you get the digifigures or you get these niche sets that would be better if they had
Yeah.
minifigures, and that's all you get.
I do believe that they will make minifigures, but let's move on to a different subject.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Mario movie real quick.
I haven't seen it, but I don't care about spoilers. I assume Mario does Mario things, and that's it.
90 minutes to film. You should totally watch it. It's not that
Okay.
long.
Oh,
I'm gonna say
I probably
this,
will.
and I'm gonna tell you guys, the movie was amazing. I loved it, and I
my
don't
goodness.
want to hear anyone else but Jack Black voice Bowser for the rest of time. Jack Black is the only person who is allowed to voice Bowser. I don't want to hear it. Same thing with
I
Seth
actually
Rogen as
feel-
Donkey Kong. Those are the only 2 voice actors for those characters.
I honestly feel kind of sad that I kind of like ashamed of myself that I didn't see it, given all the intense emotions about the cast.
You know what?
And
will
I
say this.
think that the cast did a fantastic job,
They did.
and
This is
and
crazy.
I had a great time. I saw it twice, and listen, you guys,
Oh, wow,
even for
okay.
movies that I love, I don't see them in the theaters twice. I have done
Yeah,
that
no.
for I can count on 2 hands the amount of movies I've seen multiple times in the theaters.
Name them.
Okay, The Incredible. Well, actually, no, I was only 2 when The Incredibles came out.
Okay.
Megamind, that was 1. The Batman,
Okay.
Top Gun Maverick, the Mario movie.
Yes.
Kung Fu Panda. That was Kung Fu Panda 2. That
Oh,
was
cool.
that was 1.
Yeah. Okay.
The
The only one I've done that with, the only one, which is very very exciting, is the Batman. I saw that twice, which is very cool that you saw it as well.
I'm sure there's another one I'm not remembering right now, but yeah. So yeah, I had a great time. The movie was fantastic. Like I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I kind of got a little teary eyed when they grabbed Bowser and started swinging him by the tail. Because I told myself if they do that, I said to myself, if Mario or Luigi grabs Bowser by the tail and starts swinging him around, I'm gonna cry. So
I'm glad you did.
it was just
That is
the
a really
fact
funny
that
thing,
you
but
have
you're right.
that we finally on the big screen we see Mario and Luigi beating the shit out of Bowser, and then they finally do that iconic thing right there. I'm sorry, it's like that's what we're here to see. It was the same thing with Sonic becoming Super Sonic in the second movie.
Yeah, for sure. Was there any
Yeah.
Zelda references?
Oh, any
There's
what?
one, I believe. There is one, I believe, and that
Oh, there
comes
is?
to Mario's dad looking like Talon from Ocarina of Time.
Oh, for God's sake!
That's
But I don't
interesting.
think-
Okay.
I don't think it's intentional.
It's not. That's
But-
why that's why I don't count any. That's what was dumb to me, is that there's not like you have references to Kid Icarus. Like Mario's playing Kid Icarus in one scene.
Interesting choice.
You don't have any Zelda references. It has to be because the movie. It's like it has to be.
Could be.
It's same thing with it's like same thing with the idea set. That's why no Mario idea sets were happening because of the theme. So it's like
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Surprisingly, controversial. What's the word? Contrary to what I've said in that one time previously, me roasting Chris Pratt, I think he did an amazing job. Honestly,
he did fantastic,
because
and I'm sure he'll do
At
great
least-
in his new role as Garfield.
I was gonna say that at least compared to Garfield, he sounds like just Chris Pratt. Mario, at least it sounds like he's trying to put up an accent or something. So like a Brooklyn, New York type accent at some points of the film, which I did appreciate. In the Wahoo, in the Mario Kart scene, that was epic. I love that. So Chris Pratt did well, and I guess this is a segue to another topic: the Legend of Zelda movie. So what is the the big elephant in the room when it comes to the Legend of Zelda movie. It's gonna be live action, and everyone's
Yeah, we
worried.
talked about this in episode 8.
Yep, and everyone's concerned and worried and saying, "Do not cast Tom Holland as Link." And I just want to give my quick little thoughts about that.
Uh-oh. Yes.
Very controversial, maybe. Physical wise, I could see him working because take note. This is a big budget movie adaptation. It's not going to be like, for example, the One Piece live action, which it was great, I know, but looking at it, they look more like cosplayers rather than like real life pirates or characters like that. This is a big movie we're talking about here, so at least we all envision it being like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbits, Game of Thrones, something like that, very medieval looking. So taking consideration that it's not going to be a cheap looking, not cheap, it's like game accurate cosplay. I imagine they're going to like make something new. At least what I imagine is something like Tears of the Kingdom's Champions leathers, which a bunch of like straps and stuff on the green tunic and like, you know, the hat. That's iconic, so they got to keep it, although it may look goofy, but it all depends down to the makeup team and the costume team. So I could see Tom Holland working in that aspect physically. Now, the big problem is when he speaks. Now, that's a huge problem because either they make him sound stupid or his performance is the actor's performance is poor. Either the line delivery is poor. I mean that goes down to the actor as well. But then like the writing that has to do with it as well. So for example, imagine him seeing,
Or this is the real option, and this is if I was able to direct the Legend of Zelda movie, this is the one I would go with. It's the hardest option, but it could work and it could make the movie something really special. He doesn't speak.
Okay,
Yeah.
hear me out. Hear me out on this. Hear me out on this. I know. Oh my god. I know a lot of people hate the thought of Link talking.
Well,
Yes.
also,
But
I want
when
to point
you
out
go
that
in-
like it's not like listen. I know that Mario like does talk more than Link in the games, but it's not like he's out here saying sentences. It's like he says like I've only heard him say full sentences in like 2 games. So it's like Mario is not known for talking that much. Yet you have Chris Pratt out here talking a lot. So I'm just saying
and that's what I'm gonna say. We gotta take in mind this. This is a film. This is a story. What works in a video game cannot work in a story, because here's the thing, right? At least in the game, we play as Link. He's silent because we ourselves as the player could project ourselves onto him. But in a movie, he is his own separate identity. In the game, you are just told, "Hey, go over there, defeat that boss, and get this stone from the temple or something." You do it and done. In the film, at least, he is an independent character, so he has emotions, he has feelings. Now, he could be silent still. That the silent as in he doesn't speak much. He like exactly, you know, that's pretty self-explanatory, I guess. Like he doesn't speak as much, but like I said, this is a fully fleshed out film, I imagine, and he needs to talk yes or yes, because like how are you gonna have character development? How are people gonna care about this character if he doesn't speak? At least something, because like how can you how can you care about a character when you don't, like, he's just there doing nothing, following instructions, doesn't do stuff for his own self.
Okay, look. Let's take this apart. Look, I'll start with an example from prehistory. Human beings didn't evolve the capacity till very, very, very late. Even in humans' existence, not even evolutionarily. Like even once humans existed, it took a long time. And then that's a crazy example. Why would I bring that up? So okay, let's put that aside for a bit. What about WALL-E? What about all the Pixar animations? Obviously there's Toy Story and stuff like that, but the Pixar, like the short films, they're all obviously short. Okay, they're shorts. WALL-E though, there's WALL-E, and the thing about WALL-E is that you connect with him so deeply, and it's so simple. And this is Link. Link isn't even a robot. Link is a person. Link has a face. He can convey so much more than WALL-E.
So what I think the important thing that this film needs to do is, I think this film could be very good to shut the people up who say Link has no personality.
Yes.
Because
and
that's the thing, is that it's not impossible for Link to not say anything. I think that if we get someone, you know what? If Tom Holland is cast as Link, then it's up to him. If they tell him don't talk, it's up to him to convey emotion without talking. And you know what? I think that if you get the right guy, you can do it. I'm not going to write Tom Holland off.
But again,
if they
take
are
notes.
insistent on
Take
getting
notes.
him to play Link,
This is live action. What the exaggerations you have in a 3D animated environment and in animation cartoons is very different from real life because it just looks unrealistic.
Okay, Hylian, I'm going to give you a very specific example, and I'm
Sure.
and this is a very minor example. Like, and you could actually watch this and not even see it, but you guys remember there was a Godzilla movie that came out in 2019?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
No, before the one where he fought King Kong?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Yes. Okay. In that movie, there is a scene where the humans are like, okay, we need to fight with Godzilla or else we're all going to die. So when Godzilla comes back out of the water and he sees them, they're like, nobody move, show him we're not his enemy. And then he's looking at him, and then he realizes that they don't want to hurt him. And you can very subtly see his expression change. So I'm just saying, if you can pull that off with a giant dinosaur, you can get someone to pull it off with a human.
Sorry, I did not hear you. The thing, it crashed again. Sorry. Can you repeat? Sorry.
What was the last thing you heard?
I don't know. You should mention an example that you're gonna say.
Okay, so in the 2019 Godzilla movie, there's a scene where everyone's like, okay, we need to work together with Godzilla or we're all going to die. So Godzilla comes out of the water and they're like, nobody move, show him we're not his enemy. And then Godzilla's looking at them and he realizes they don't want to hurt him. And then you can very subtly see that his expression changes.
But yes, but again,
so I think if you
human,
can pull that off with a
monster.
giant dinosaur, you can pull that off with an elf or a human.
This is gonna sound kind of offensive, so I do apologize in advance. But I feel like they'll be treating Link if they did that as a person with special needs or something.
Oh, come on.
Look, I see that. I see your point, but here's something. If and this might be just insane. I don't even know if this makes any sense, but perhaps it's the case that if you're saying something, if there's dialogue that you can't convey through your body, through just grunts, let's say, through movements, through your hands, perhaps you're not really saying anything.
Also, I'm gonna bring this up, Hylian. I'm surprised you're not thinking about this. We watched a fan film where Link didn't talk, yet
fan film, which is not a fully fleshed out story. It's its own story.
But it doesn't matter. I'm just saying it's possible.
It's possible, but again, like I said, this is a fully fleshed out movie where Link, again, you could sympathize with Link in that short film where he did not speak. But remember, this is a full film. He's going through a bunch of events since kid, maybe since adult, who knows? But this is a full film. He could express.
I know I'm always bringing it. Well, I haven't always been because we've only done maybe 2 episodes since I got into it. But God of War, for example, I want to use God of War as an example of what they could do here.
Yes.
So in the 2 newest God of War games, from what I can really gather, is the main character Kratos. He seems to really only speak when he is spoken to.
Exactly. That's at least what I imagine Link to do.
So
speak when
I think
spoken
that
to.
if we're going to have Link talk in this movie, he should only speak when spoken to.
I disagree. I think that here's the thing. I think that if it would be easier to have him speak, and I think that that's what they're going to go with because it makes more sense. Writers who are standard writers who have written other things, they can easily slot into this role and just keep writing the way they've always written. But I think you would be able to, if you were really vanguard is the word. If you really pushed through and said, I'm going to do this the way it should be done, and you let go of all of your preconceived notions and you just started to write, I think you could create something that's very compelling. Like, you're right. To some degree, it might seem like he's a guy with special needs, but I think that the way, if they do it the right way,
I really
he
don't
could
see it like that, but
they
yeah.
well, in some ways, he could, you could do it, and it would look that way. That would be
Well,
something
I want
that could
to.
happen.
There's another possibility here that I can see.
And this is the thing that I
Wait,
always
well,
see in a film.
let me
He
finish.
is.
Okay, yeah, go.
Go ahead, talk, Brandon. You talk first. Yeah.
Okay, so my idea. Let's say that this movie starts and Link already has everything like together. He's already a knight or a traveler, whatever version they're going with, right?
That would be very surprising, but okay, yeah.
Okay, but let's go with that. Let's go with the fact that like this movie doesn't start out with the origin. All right?
Mhm.
Let's just go with that idea.
Yes.
So Link goes around doing his thing, but he doesn't talk. And then eventually he meets Zelda or maybe Malon or someone. And then eventually they're like, you don't really talk much. And then like eventually though, they're like, why do you not talk? And then finally Link says something. He's like, because I don't really have much to say. And then finally, like they, whoever he's talking to can like get him to open up a bit. And then we get his backstory. And then when we see past Link, let's say this is I don't know, let's say this is Ocarina Link. And then when you see he's in the Kokiri Forest, he's talking to all the other Kokiris and all that. And he's having a good time. As soon as that Deku Tree dies, he doesn't really say much. I think that it would be interesting if we kind of have a Breath of the Wild approach. Link does talk, but he doesn't say much because he kind of just feels like it's easier to not say anything.
Yes, of course. But back to what I was saying,
Okay.
in a film, at least, he is an independent character because at least in the games, we look at it, he depends either on a companion or either like people, yo, do this. But he could depend on other people in film, but then there's points where like, he is his own person, like again, like that approach of the Breath of the Wild approach of like him just not like that's the way I see it, at least like speaks when spoken to or when needed, not like he's randomly around. So like for example, Zoe, he's around in a field with Zoe or something. She says something and then he just gives a solid reply and done, but not like frequently or like he talks when just needed. Not talks like random bullcrap. You don't find out much about the character, about his own self. Just he's Link. He's a blank slate, but he speaks when needed, when only like needs to.
Look,
Yeah, so I just think
I think look, I think that works. Like I think that would be an option that they could go with. And I think it wouldn't be terrible. However, I think it lacks a certain degree of vision. I think that and I just think that there's a way where you can do it like he's a stoic knight, kind of like what you're saying. He's this stoic knight. And there's also this element of you've been in situations before in your life where you're not saying much and maybe somebody even turns to you and asks sort of a question and maybe you just nod or you frown or you shake your head and there's been this situation where you feel like you're in a place among a group or or socially or maybe in a job or something like that where you're not saying much um and the world's kind of going on without you, and then there can even be those rare situations where that's all the case and that's all true. However, you also choose to do the noble thing, like somebody said, mentions, hey, like there's a problem, like maybe they're not even talking to you, they just say something and then you're like, oh, there's a problem, and you don't say it but you think it, and then you go and you solve that problem. And it's like this sort of quiet nobility, quiet heroism that you see in people where it's like they don't need to talk, they don't need to speak, maybe they wish they could, maybe they wish that they were more involved, but they're allowing themselves to just do the right thing and just chillax about the social, chillax about all of that. They could do that with Link. They could do that with Link, and they could have him just be that person who is.
I just think
somebody says a quest to him, and he just does it, and he doesn't say anything, and there's no need for him to say anything, and that maybe speaks more. And then there's also this element of this is the way that I would do it if I was directing an Ocarina of Time movie. I would say There's Link, he doesn't speak. There's Navi, she speaks a lot. She is like, it's like a buddy cop almost, and it's like Navi would be Link's voice almost,
Yeah,
you know.
she's. I
Yeah.
imagine it like that too. Navi will be like the main voice, but then Link just talks to her back and forth, like here and there, because of course that has to be character relevant between the two, you know.
But that doesn't need to be
but
spoken. That can be with faces. Like Navi can ask a Link a weird question. Link can like have a weird face, and he can like shake his head, or maybe Link like hits her if like you know it gets like really like aggressive or comedic, or you know maybe Link like just
again, you
like
gotta take in
walks
mind.
away
You
on
gotta
the
take in
joke.
mind as
There's
well.
so much.
You gotta
Wait,
take in mind as well. Assuming from like the Mario movie and what they said in the post that they upload to the website, they kind of do want to introduce new fans. So like new fans would not be into that. Another thing I want to talk about Link
I don't know
is
if that's true.
something that me and Octane speak about a
Okay.
lot.
Yeah.
I guess
Yep.
he's very vocal about this.
Sure.
Apart from calling Octane, but you like talking about this, so and I kind of agree with you here. So we don't need this is something as cool as Twilight Princess is. We do not for the film. No hyper masculine Link, please don't.
That's kind of why I don't want Tom Holland to play him, though, because I mean, I think people give Link enough shit about being. I'm not gonna use words, not because I don't care, but it's like if we're ever going to be monetized, it's like I can't really be saying certain things. So
That's the thing with silently because it's yeah.
I'm going
Like,
to
yeah,
take
you
the
can be
high road
thoughtful,
here. But
but
I
to some
also want to
extent,
add
so-
that there is a middle ground to this entire conversation that we're not really taking into consideration.
And that is
Okay, so I think Skyward Sword Link is kind of the perfect Link to base the movie one off of.
yeah, I agree.
He doesn't say anything, but he's very expressive. You can tell basically what he's thinking by his face. He's not, in Octane's words, hyper masculine or whatever. So I just think that is the best Link to go with in terms of like characterization.
Yeah, characterization. Yeah, like he again the characteristic traits of Link. I guess
Because his
that I
expressions
could imagine.
aren't like overly goofy like Wind Waker's, but you can still tell what he's thinking without him saying anything.
I kind of agree. So I would say that if they're gonna make a Legend of Zelda movie, I don't think anybody can do an Ocarina of Time movie except for maybe me in like 30 years when I'm a great
Oh my
director.
God.
Maybe I could do it then. I've been
I
man,
say
I've been writing drafts
for a
and
story,
drafts of that
a
movie.
blend of Ocarina of Time and A Link to the Past, because that's just classic Zelda. Doesn't involve something
Okay,
very
I think that
attention grabbing.
okay, what's that? Oh my god, I had it. I was gonna say something now. I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh god, I hate it when oh yeah. There's only one real thing that's really gonna annoy me in this movie if they do it, because then they have no excuse. If Link is right-handed in this movie, I'm going to be very angry.
See, that's an actual problem because that's rare. Like, are they gonna be able to find an actor who's left-handed, or are they gonna have to act the whole time? I
First
feel
off,
like that would be
I don't want
hard.
to hear I don't want to hear anyone comment this. You don't need to be left-handed to hold a sword in your left hand.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
I am
Yeah.
left-handed, yet I punch way harder with my right hand.
Well, you know what?
Yet,
I think it really depends on. Like, ignore
also,
the actor who plays Link.
We're not paying these people to change how they do things. We're paying you to act. So hold a sword in your left hand
true.
and act.
Well, the way I see it, at least, yes, they could hold the sword. Let's say a right-handed actor, for example. Let's say you want Link left-handed, for example. Because for me, it doesn't really matter because it doesn't distract from the story. But let's say the actor is right-handed. But for me, well, at least I think what really comes down to mattering is the stunt double right-handed or left-handed? Because I think the stunt double is the one that's going to do all the fighting.
Okay, well,
That's a good point, actually.
It doesn't matter if the stunt double is or not, because it's going to be people are going to notice the inconsistency if one is holding it left and the other right.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if the stunt
both.
double is left-handed, the actor for Link would have to act left-handed because they're just like holding the sword. That's all they're doing when their face is showing.
You people watching who are right-handed, no offense to any of you. I'm not saying that I hate you if you're right-handed. I'm just saying.
That's like
as
90%
someone
of the
who-
audience.
What?
That's like 90% of the audience.
Most people
All
are,
right.
are right-handed.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to
Gotta play.
explain myself before we continue with this. As someone, who is left-handed, there are very few heroes or characters in general that I can look at and be like, hey, they're left-handed too. Like, again, it's like a thing I can count on one hand. You have characters like Link, Little Mac, I think, Ned Flanders from The Simpsons.
True.
It's like there's not many characters I can look at and relate to because they're left-handed.
That's true. Yeah, no, I mean,
So-
Link is
so-
iconically left-handed.
So seeing Link, this awesome character, slaying these giant dragons and fighting evil wizards and doing all this cool stuff, wielding one of the most powerful weapons in gaming history, I'm like, he's left-handed just like me. That's awesome. And then I see in my favorite game in this franchise and my favorite game of all time, he's right-handed now. That really annoys me. I get
Wow,
why
I didn't know Skyward Sword was your favorite game.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. I see.
I understand why he is right-handed on Twilight Princess Wii and Skyward Sword. I understand because, there are motion controls and most people are right-handed. I understand that. There is no reason for him to be right-handed in Breath of the Wild. There was no reason.
I hate it. I don't like it. I don't understand
There
why.
are no motion controls.
It's bad. Not Link.
And that's the thing, is that it messes him up on Smash Bros. Too. Now he's right-handed on Smash Bros. And
Yeah.
it's inconsistent too, because the Breath of the Wild skin in Hyrule Warriors is still left-handed.
Well, you
That's
gotta
funny.
take in consideration it's just like a skin.
Well,
so
I know. I'm
the-
just saying though, is that like it shows that like he could have been.
Yeah, he could have been. I don't exactly know why. Maybe they're just trying to be consistent. Like they started the Skyward Sword and now they're not going back. I don't know.
No,
I really don't
because
know the logic there.
No, because there was Link Between Worlds after Skyward Sword, and he was left-handed in that game.
True, though it is a little bit different because it's like not a big mainline game in the same way.
guess-
But I see
I
your
don't
point.
know.
No, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't exactly get the logic. I mean, did they forget? They couldn't have forgotten. I don't know.
Well, regardless, we will in the next few episodes as we get closer. I don't know when the movies. We don't know even. We're not
No
even
idea.
close to the movie's release date. But we will discuss more about the Link actor situation in future episodes.
That's right.
Because if we keep going now, we're going to be here all night.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
we
will-
should call it
Next
off
up,
today.
I
We've
want
been
to
on
talk
for
about
3 hours.
Ganondorf.
Oh, sure.
Wait, what'd you say about Ganondorf? Idris Elba?
Yes, I think that he should play Ganondorf, and I don't think anyone else should.
I was actually thinking the guy, the guy from The Office who was the manager for like a brief period, but then he played Ultron. He
He played Ultron.
I don't remember his name. Yeah, he played Ultron. He's like, did you guys see The Office? I don't even know if that was
No, I don't remember the character.
Okay. But
Okay.
if you got the actor who played Ultron, or if you just remember his voice, like I feel like
Yeah.
that voice would be good. I don't know.
Yeah, that voice would
I-
work for Ganondorf without the roboticized effect, obviously.
Well, yeah. So the problem I think with Tom Holland or Idris Elba is, I want Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf to be Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf. I don't want them to be an actor. I don't want them to be I want it like the Doctor. The Doctor, you don't get somebody to be the Doctor who's already this other character very iconically, or even is just a famous actor anyway. Like you get a new person to be the Doctor because that person needs to be the Doctor. Like that person, that's who. When you look at that person, you got to think, oh, it's the Doctor. And so it would be hard for me to see like Tom Holland. I think he would be great, except for the fact that he's Tom Holland. Like he looks kind of like Link, sort of. He's got funny facial expressions. He's athletic. He's got the right build, but he's Tom Holland. That's the only issue with Tom Holland.
Yeah, that's the main issue, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess we should gotta grow and accept it because I mean, really, you gotta consider this is a big movie. But at the end of the day, this is capitalism, so we kind of gotta accept the facts. And yeah, as much as we dislike it.
Well, wait. So you're saying that they're definitely gonna hire a famous actor?
What do you say? I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna cast like big actors, yes, because I mean, again, it's capitalism, and this is
No,
a
I mean,
they
it,
they did it with the Mario movie, but for Link,
well,
let's just hope it's an unknown actor. That would be the most ideal thing.
yeah, I really do hope. It's actually really hard. That this was a real issue that I ran into after hearing the announcement. Like, I googled really good cosplays of Link and everything, and I just like I couldn't find anybody. Even I couldn't find anybody really that I thought, okay, this person looks like they could be Link. Like I like just at all like faces. Like it's hard for me to see a human face that looks like Link. The only person who really does, is the guy. I don't know if you've seen the movie Love Actually, or Maze Runner. There's this actor who he's blonde. He looks like Link. He's been like a fan cast for a long time, but now he's too old for it. He looks a lot. He could be Link. Like he could really be Link, but I couldn't find anybody who's like him who really
If we
looked
got the
like.
Zelda movie a long time ago, I would have suggested the guy who played Legolas in Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, okay. I
But
don't know. If
I think he's too old now too.
Yeah, he's probably way too old. I mean, yeah, it's just like to see a person in the costume who looks like they could make a compelling movie. It's hard. Like I really don't think. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Do you think
Yeah,
it'll be Breath of the Wild centric? Do you think it'll be Blue Tunic Link? I honestly don't know because it is the
no, I
most
don't think so.
really.
I don't
I
think
I
so.
can't see them doing that because I feel like if they're going based on like newest appearance, I feel like then Mario would have had Cappy in the movie.
Well, I don't know about that. Because Cappy is basically just his cap, except with eyes sometimes, but
I
not
don't
even
know.
that.
I don't
think
know. I
really
just
should have.
feel like they're not really going to go for like newest appearance over most iconic.
Well, you're right. I would agree. I don't think the reason they would do Breath of the Wild is because it's the most recent. I think it's because it's vastly far and away the most successful of any game that's ever been in the franchise. Maybe all of them combined, even. Like really, like it's really crazy. And so, like, I just I don't even know if Mario Odyssey is the most successful Mario game.
Well, no, but
But
it's up there.
it's definitely up there. It's just that Breath of the Wild is very, very, very successful, more than any other Zelda game has been. So in terms of iconicity, you could argue that it is more iconic than any other game. However, maybe that's not true because obviously Link has been Link forever, and only now is he Blue Tunic Link in some sense. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. All right, then, we've been talking about Link and Ganondorf. What about Zelda herself?
Mm.
People have said Emma Watson.
She's
I
too
see it.
old at this point. I think she's don't get me wrong. She could definitely do it, but I feel like she's like, how old is she? Like 30 something.
She's pretty old for Zelda. I think they should all
Yeah.
be very young. Maybe even Ganondorf. I don't know.
Okay,
I feel
well,
like they
no,
should all be
Ganondorf has always been like. I mean, it's like
Older. Yeah.
could be older. Yeah, maybe that's insane. I don't know why I said that.
I'm
Yeah,
imagining
no.
if the Link actor is gonna be young, Zelda's actor has to be around the same age. So
Yeah.
yeah.
all right.
But
Well,
yeah, I
we
would
definitely
think-
have an interesting thing to look forward to in terms of casting.
yeah. I feel like Zelda would
Um,
be easier to get right than Link in
Yeah,
terms of like just just like I could see people being Zelda. I couldn't really. It's hard for me to see anybody being Link. I don't know.
All right. A bit of the next topic. This won't really be as long as the Zelda movie. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Yes, I have not seen it.
I saw it. It was really good.
I'm very glad to hear.
I
I still don't tell me, but I still don't know if Matt Pat from Game Theory is in it. Don't tell me if he is. I just want to
won't
put that
tell
out
you.
there that I am in a state of anticipatory fear / excitement. But that's all.
There's
I'm
a
glad that
joke
yeah.
that I really want to I want to tell you guys, but I can't really again because if I feel like if I tell it, we're gonna lose our chance to ever potentially become monetized.
Why are we
Okay.
making these
Okay.
jokes? That's a good question.
Again, it's not like we're not doing this for the money. I just like
No,
don't
we're
know,
just
like-
doing it. I think we shouldn't even say because morally, if it's bad, do you think it's gonna get us demonetized or
Well,
whatever?
no, it's
we
not.
shouldn't
No,
say it because morally incorrect
Hylian,
saying.
trust me. We've said worse stuff on the calls we have. It's not that bad. It's just like I don't want to say it in case like there's kids watching.
Yeah, that's why I'm cautious of what we are saying. You know.
Well, yeah, but like I mean, cursing is like it's different. It's like I'm just gonna stop talking about it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. My
I'm
point
glad
is
that
that I liked it. It was a good movie. Yeah, it's really good. That's all there really is to it.
Was the CGI extremely good? Like, because in all
there was no CGI. What do you mean?
Most of it was
There was-
practical. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all practical.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Dang.
actual suits and actual animatronics. So
Okay, I actually really want to see it because just in all of the posters, they look very much like they're just cartoons. Like,
okay,
they
I
look
will
very...
make one joke though. Like this is not that inappropriate. Everyone's complaining about them having red eyes, right?
I get.
And I always tell people, it's like, do you forget that the hardest mode in the first game was 420 mode?
I don't get that joke. I don't play FNAF.
Oh well, yeah. There's you can do custom nights, and then you can set it, and it goes from like 0 to 20. So, and there's 4 of them in the original game, so it's like 420 mode. So I was like, oh well, that's why their eyes are red. Because everyone's saying everyone's saying they're high, so it's like, oh well, the original mode is 420 mode, so of course they are.
It's canon. That's funny.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to think of any other topics.
I think we've done everything we need to be subject to, because we do have subjects for another video. So I guess the big elephant in the room for the last thing to end this off, because we've been here for how long? 3 hours maybe?
This might be one of our longest episodes.
It's just
about
a schedule that we gotta make that clear. Like what's going on with our schedule here of the uploads and podcasts.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk
at
about
least
that.
At least once a month. I'm good with.
Yeah, that's all right. You heard it here first, people. Now there's
By
going to
the
be
way-
a joke at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
And just ignore that now that we've decided it, because I made that joke before we decided it.
Don't explain it. Just let it be a joke, and maybe they'll be confused, or maybe they'll laugh. I don't
Okay, but all right,
Yes.
then yeah, but so
Yes.
yeah, once a month we're gonna try, and we mean
Once
it
a
this
month.
time. We're actually going to try to do once a
Yes.
month.
Yes. It will
Every, like,
be.
what? Every okay, Saturdays we cannot because that's my calls. I work on Fridays. Sundays
You
we
work
could
on
try
Fridays?
earlier.
Sundays early Sundays.
I mean,
The
yeah,
only
I gotta
issue
go.
is my job is a part-time job, and I don't know my schedule until Thursday, and so it's like different each week. I could we could just schedule it differently, maybe each week / month whenever we do it, because it might vary. But I don't think that'll be too bad.
Depends. Sometimes I cannot because again, college and work and stuff. But we can manage some other time. Anyways, I've been Hylian Bricks.
I have been Bgoldbricks.
And I've been the LEGO Zora, and if you like this video, hit the like button. And oh, by the way, you guys, should I say this here? I look out for new videos on my channel. I am gonna post again for November.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
very
And,
weird.
buy those Sonic sets. Buy them
Naruto
right now.
Forge
As
here?
soon as this video is over, go buy those Sonic sets. And if you have them already, then wait patiently for the next wave and buy those immediately.
That's correct. That's correct.
And
Yeah,
and watch Golden Years and Hyrule Champion and
Of
all
course.
of Zora's
Please.
videos.
please, thank you. And all of Brandon's old animations.
No, stop it.
On his.
No.
They're so good.
No,
Where
I
there's
swear to God, I will drop kick you.
just go to Bgoldbricks' YouTube channel. Link in the description. Go sort for most popular.
No,
Watch all of the
stop.
most popular.
I only
videos.
I only keep those up because they have so many views. I would delete them if
That's
they
right.
had no views.
I can't believe you would ever delete them. You made them. They're so good.
And they're
They're
garbage.
so good. Well, you got to question why they got so many views, and the answer is because they're marvelous.
No, I have so many views because a bunch of toddlers watch them, and then they come back a few years after they watch them and be like, man, I watched this as a kid. This is cringy as shit now.
Are those actual comments you've had?
Yes, I get comments like that all the time from people telling me that they watched it as a
think they're
kid and
funny.
now it's the cringiest thing ever.
I genuinely think they're very funny. Anyway, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.
And do not commit adultery. It's going to say it at
Of
the end of
course,
the episode
yes.
anyway, but don't do it. We're telling you right now not to do it. And we hope you enjoyed the 11th episode special. And I know in a few episodes ago I said we were going to try to have a guest for episode 10, and we're on the 11th episode special now. We're still trying to do that.
We should get Octane Thermoplastic on this podcast.
Yeah, I'll talk with him. We can get him here for
Should
sure.
I say who the original first guest was going to be?
I don't know.
Wasn't
Maybe.
it Noah something?
No, R. No, something like that.
Yeah.
That's your friend, right?
Well, Hylian was the one who said he wanted to be on the show.
Who?
Noah
wait,
R.
who?
Whatever, the guy who made those Zelda
Oh,
minifigure
Noah
series.
R. Yeah. No, that would be awesome. Man, that would be great. Yeah. What if we got both of them? That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Actually,
That might be a lot, but-
Noah R and Octane, they do get along together. They know each other, so that'll be a bang. That'll be fun.
Okay, so we hope you guys will join us if we can get them next month for the Podcast of Time 12th episode special holiday edition and Knuckles.
Holiday edition.
That's right.
Anyways, that's been all for today.
I'm gonna title it that, by the way.
Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be great.
No, I'm gonna title it the 12th episode special holiday edition and Knuckles.
That's good. Okay. Yeah. And let's
Okay.
hope that Craig was recording this whole time, and then we
Yeah, it
should be
still
good.
says recording. All right. So hopefully this episode will be out as soon as possible.
Yes. Yes.
And we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
See you next month. Buy those Sonic sets.
5 9 7